On your marks, get ready, get set. And go. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. David Snyder. Welcome to How to Reprogram Your Subconscious Mind, Secrets for Personal Transformation and Self-Growth. I'll be your host for the next 2.5 hours or so. I'm Dr. David Snyder. For those of you who are brand new to Planet David, before I launch into what I lovingly call the Dr. David Dog and Pony Show, just tell me who you are, where you're checking in from, how you found us, and what is, to quote one of my great and good friends, the late James Heatu, what are you not getting from your life now that I can help you with? In other words, when we think about all the things that we could program our mind to do or to program our minds to stop doing, what's the top of your list? If you got nothing else but the secret keys to begin that process of getting that thing, what might that be for you? Go ahead and type that in the chat room for me. I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of my amazing and wonderful fans out in YouTube land. I want to thank you guys so much for your ongoing loyalty and support. We're getting close to 290,000 subscribers and millions upon millions of views. And I want to thank you for all your support and love and kindness. And keep those questions coming. Keep those likes and shares. Keep everything going on, because that's how we change the world. We don't change the world in mass, even though it looks that way. We change the world one heart at a time, one mind at a time. And inch by inch, things start to transform for us. So that being said, let's see here. I see Kaya, I see Catherine, I see Brad, I see Jim and Stuart and Edie. There's the amazing Mia in the background there. I see Shadow Person, whoever that is, right? I see Heather and Jen, and welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. So type it in the chat right now. What is your biggest, most compelling pain point? What is it, if you could reprogram your subconscious mind, what would it be that you most want to change? Or if you got the master keys from today, would be your biggest, most like time well spent kind of a thing. If that makes any kind of sense. So for those of you who have been veterans of Planet David, who've been hanging around for 3, 4, 5, 6 years or 6 months or however long it's been, welcome back. A lot of today, I think, might be a review for you guys. But you know what? One of the reasons I keep teaching the same content over and over and over again isn't because I don't have other new stuff. It's because these are the things that get the job done. Okay. When it comes to reprogramming your unconscious mind or your subconscious mind, depending on which school of thought you're part of, right? If this is the scope of everything that there is, right? We've got time for this much. So I'm going to target tonight's training as best I can to the things that are most relevant to you. And then I'm going to show you in a very specific, very strategic way how to take it further if that's something that you feel inclined to do. If I deliver on my promises to what you are showing me in the chat, then by all means, we'll take it that direction. Now, so Emily is saying, I'm shy and avoidant of interacting with people. In fact, I don't usually like other people very much. Me either. I don't like people either, right? Stuart says, I'm trying to start a business, but my focus is all over the place. Can you help? Trying to leave the old me behind and encourage new me to take control. Local resident curmudgeon. It gives me an excuse not to socialize. Ooh. Whenever I ask if it's okay to get rid of this, I get a hesitant no. I'm trying to, okay, let's see here. What else we got? Being able to hold conversations, Ken says. Okay. Charlene Gracie says, I haven't bought or eaten a cookie, candy, or ice cream since I took your neurohypno class a couple of weeks ago. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Charlene, you are more than welcome. You are more than welcome. Those stories, those reports never get old. Which brings us to this idea of who is Dr. David Snyder and why should I care? But before I go into who I am, let's find out if you're actually in the right place and if this is going to be a good use of your time. So if you can answer yes to any of the questions I'm about to ask you, type yes in the chat, and then we'll go from there. If you've ever felt like you know exactly what to do, but something invisible keeps pulling you back, welcome home. Tonight, we're not going to talk about motivation. We're not going to talk about motivation and willpower because those things are over talked about, right? You see, when your willpower and your imagination are in conflict, guess who wins? It's not your willpower. So we're going to go straight into the control room of, or as I like to call it in the clinic, we're going to talk to the boss, the subconscious or unconscious mind, the 93% plus of your system that runs your emotions, your habits, and the results that you keep producing, right? You're going to discover by the end of this webinar how to erase old programming and install a newer set of beliefs and identities and live as the version of you who already wins with the same tools I've used to help thousands of people take control of their minds and bodies and results. So let's find out if this is you. If you've ever had this experience, if you're tired of knowing exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it, but you're still not doing it, type "that's me" in the chat, right? If you just want to stay calm and focused and in charge no matter what happens, type "that's for me" in the chat, right? If you feel many times like you're fighting your own brain, go ahead and type that in the chat, right? If you find yourself in situations where you give so much, but people still don't seem to really see you or feel who you are or get you, type that in the chat. If you'd like to connect more deeply and help people change without feeling drained or a fake, go ahead and type that in the chat, right? If you're done with surface level relationships and you crave something real, type "that's for me" in the chat, right? Maybe you know you're good at what you do, but for some reason you feel like a phony when you do it, or when people will tell you how good you are, or maybe you're good at what you do, but no matter how good you are, no one seems to notice. Any of these, right? If you just want people to respect your voice and feel your authority, type "that's for me" in the chat, right? If you're a bit of a rebel, kind of like me, like if you can't follow somebody else's formula because it kills your flow, type "that's for me" in the chat. That's Dr. David in a nutshell right here. I am pathologically unemployable because I just go my own way no matter what. He says me. Right? If you want success that feels authentic and not forced, or you just want to express who you really are and still be a winner, right? If any of that sounds like you, then you're in exactly the right place because every one of those frustrations comes from the same root. It comes from the unconscious programming that no longer fits who you're becoming. Now, this is an interesting piece because most people go around trying to fix behaviors, right? And one of the things I tell my clients and my students is that behavior is kind of the symptom, not the problem. I know that sounds weird, but think of behaviors kind of like the check engine light on the dashboard, right? You know, you're driving down the road and the check engine light goes off. And if you're like me, you see that check engine light go on, you have your heart skips a beat, you break out in a cold sweat, and you're like, you go rushing off to the gas station or the service station to get it fixed. Or if you're like some of us, you're like, please go up, please go up, please go up, please go up. In any event, the light keeps coming back and forth and back and forth. And eventually you got to go to the service station. But you don't go to the service station to fix the light, do you? You go to the service station to figure out what the light is trying to tell you so you can fix the real problem. My friend's behavior is a lot like that. Now, there's a lot of people who believe in behaviorism, which honestly, true enough to be true. But let's be honest, every behavior that we engage in, even if it's categorically screwing up our lives, has below the surface of it a positive intention. It's trying to do something for us that worked in the moment that behavior was created. But here's the problem. You see, your unconscious mind runs automatic loops built from past experiences, and it doesn't sort for, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't sort, it doesn't like change. It's not that your unconscious mind doesn't like change. It doesn't like uncertainty. If it knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that this new behavior will get you something better, many times it will take that step. Here's the problem. It's the uncertainty principle that holds your subconscious mind back, because that uncertainty principle, that uncertainty, that element of change or chaos in the process, triggers a safety mechanism in your unconscious mind. And if your unconscious mind has to sort between an uncertain good thing and a certain less than good thing, it will sort for certainty every time. So for those of you who've been in and around the transformation realms for a while, you may have heard this said: your unconscious mind sorts for what's familiar. How many of you have ever heard that expression or watched that or seen that expression somewhere? If you've seen it, go ahead and type that in the chat. Okay, Kenneth says me. Okay. If not, you're going to get your first lesson, because we're going to talk about, let me see if I can find this for you guys. Before I get into the first rule, how many of you here had said that's me to at least 2 or 3 of the things that I've mentioned today? Just type a 1 or a 2 in the chat, just so I know. Perfect. Edie typed a 5. Okay, perhaps we should focus on following directions now. But anyway, all right. So let's talk about let's begin the process of what I lovingly call the Dr. David Dog and Pony Show. Okay, let me just fix my camera just a little bit, because I don't like how I'm positioned in the frame. So maybe I can just drop that down a little. Is that better or worse? That'll work. I'm sorry, I'm very finicky about where I'm positioned in my camera. I'm not finicky about a lot of things, but that's just one of them. So for those of you who are new to Planet David, who is this guy who wears vests? And why should I care? First of all, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, because it isn't obvious, my name is Dr. David Snyder, and I have been named the #2 NLP trainer and the #1 NLP trainer for the last 9 years. Hopefully, I'll make it 10 in a row. I've authored over 15 different products on various forms of human influence and reprogramming the subconscious mind. Everything from advanced conversational hypnosis, hypnotherapy, energetics, spirituality, law of attraction, manifestation, you name it. When it comes to influencing the human mind, body, and behavior, I'm a fan of it. I'm studying it. I'm currently studying it, or I'm about to study it. I just completely geek out on this stuff. Perhaps most importantly is, for the last, well, it's 20 years now. Oh my God, it's been 20 years. For the last 20 years, I've had a clinical practice here in Solana Beach, California, where my specialty has been treating and working with people who are suffering from terminal or chronic illness that is caused by repressed emotion, repressed behaviors and memories, things of that nature. And when you get the generic human being in the chair and you talk to the boss, as I like to say it, one of the things you discover very, very quickly, especially when you're dealing with what seems like an organic thing, a physiological thing, is that when you peel back the layers, you find unprocessed emotion, unconscious patterns that were installed in a time or a place where the person didn't know what was happening, didn't have their defenses up, was completely overwhelmed, their nervous system was in chaos, and your unconscious mind did its level best to function and help you survive that particular situation. Unfortunately, a lot of times when these things happen to us, we have amnesia for the event, or we kind of layer it over with other events. And so sometimes we think something happened, it's no big deal. 20 years later, it's a big deal. And we don't know what, we don't realize how that happened. But I've gotten a face full of that for the last 20 years, right? Now, you may have noticed that the webinar says Dr. David Snyder. I am, in fact, a doctor of Chinese acupuncture and Oriental medicine. I got my doctorate from Pacific College of Oriental Medicine. I'm also a doctor of Chinese energetic medicine, which is more of a spiritual and religious doctorate based specifically on spiritual and shamanic practices in Chinese energetic medicine. So think of acupuncture and Oriental medicine as everything we got from China post-communist revolution, and everything in the Taoist Chinese energetic medicine as everything that never made it to this country post the revolution in China. So I've spent a lot of years reconnecting dots and reverse engineering things and doing a lot of amazingly cool things. I have a 10th degree black belt in the martial arts. I have more energy healing credentials than McDonald's sells hamburgers. And why am I telling you about all these things? Because I didn't, you see my resume and it looks like I'm either a world-class bullshitter or I'm trying to compensate for something. But the reason I bring these things up is because I didn't start out with all these accomplishments. I didn't start out with these accolades and these prize-winning programs and things like that. Many of the things you're going to be learning tonight are pulled from programs that have been hailed as the #1 NLP training program in the world. And we never set out to do that. It was just my way of solving problems for me. So what do I mean by that? Growing up, I was not the most accomplished kid in the world. In fact, you could say I was bigger around than I was tall. I wore glasses. I had questionable hygiene. My social skills were fairly non-existent. And I seemed to be, for lack of a better word, the target of every bully in a 20-mile radius. I grew up very, 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 very afraid. For many years, especially even after I graduated from high school, I viewed the world around me as a very dangerous place. I viewed it as a place where everybody's out to get you. Don't let anybody in. Do what you have to do and go from there. So as you could probably imagine, being in a room, helping other people get over their stuff, 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day, 10 hours a day, was not on my radar. I often make the joke that if you'd have told me 40 years ago that where I'd be making the biggest impact was in helping people overcome their own issues, I'd have laughed at you. I was too focused on my own. And I was desperate for change. And I was fortunate, one of those lucky happenstances very, very early on, to be introduced to hypnosis. I think I was probably 11 or 12 when I was introduced to this idea of hypnosis. And I didn't realize how big an effect or a moment that would be for me. And as I think about it now, I'm kind of overwhelmed. But it was hypnosis that introduced me to the idea of the concept of the subconscious mind, but most importantly, that the subconscious mind can be used to change. It can be used to turn who you become, who you were forced to be, into who you choose to be. And that has defined my entire life. It's helped me make more money. It's helped me become more socially successful, more financially successful. Every good thing that I've been able to achieve happened because I discovered the ability of the power of the subconscious mind to transform, to change. And over the years, I figured out how to speak its language, how to really get to the core of where the problem is starting, how it was created, what we need to do to fix it, and to guide people to create their own solutions and communicate with their own minds and bodies in ways that most of us have never even considered. And I've truly stood on the backs of giants when it comes to what I'm about to share with you. So I take credit for the synthesis, not the source. But if you've ever been lonely, felt abandoned, betrayed, hurt, if you keep dating the same person with a different face, you have the same boss at 12 different jobs, right? You look at somebody and you want to talk to them and words just stick in your throat, right? Somebody pays you a compliment and you feel like a phony. I've been there, right? If you know exactly what to do and when to do it and how to do it, you're not doing it. I've been that guy. And I'm here to tell you, the answers are all inside of you, just like the problems were, okay? But we need to understand something. We need to understand how our unconscious mind and our conscious mind are the same, what they have in common, and what they do differently, okay? So here's your first rule. Your unconscious mind loves you. Understand that beyond a shadow of a doubt. Your unconscious mind loves you. And it's the smartest part of you. Okay, and that doesn't mean your conscious mind isn't smart. The difference is your conscious mind and your unconscious mind knows everything your conscious mind knows, plus a whole lot more, and it has the controls. It's driving the bus. The unconscious mind knows a lot. It doesn't know as much as the conscious mind. It only knows what it looks for, and beyond a very narrow window, it does not have control over a lot of functions. So when I have somebody in the clinic, the first thing I do when they come in is I let them talk to me. I say, how can I help you today? What's going on with you? Right? And I let them talk. Right? And spoiler alert, I pretend to believe them. Let me say that 2 more times. Yes, I said that. I pretend to believe them. And I do believe them. I believe they believe what they're saying. But here's the truth. Now, for those of you who are trained in hypnosis or neurolinguistic programming, even medical training or psychiatry or psychotherapy, you'll often hear the term called the presenting problem, right? The presenting problem is the obvious, most painful symptom. The thing that, like, I'm 50 pounds overweight. I look terrible in my clothes. I need you to make me lose weight, right? I've been smoking for 20 years. I need you to make me quit smoking, right? I've been terrified to go out of my house since I was 24. I need help. Help me. I'm terrified. I've got pain and I can't get rid of it. Those all sound really bad, right? They sound like things you might be experiencing. Here's the thing you didn't know. In 99% of the cases, guys and gals, that's not the problem. That's the check engine light on the dashboard. That's the message from your deep unconscious mind that says, hey, there's something down here you've been sitting on for too long. You need to come down and fix this. All right? If you're with me so far, if that resonates with you so far, type I'm with you in the chat. Agnes says, I'm with you. Very good. I'm with you. Good, good, good. Okay. So I said I pretend to believe them. I do listen to them because I'm looking for patterns in their speech. But one of the things you need to understand is that the conscious mind, that part of you that thinks, that uses words, is not the part that controls your physiology. It's not the part that controls your hormonal balance. It does not, except beyond a very limited extent, control your behaviors. But it creates stories that make the behaviors or the feelings that you're having seem to make sense. That's why you'll often hear me refer, especially when we're doing lie detection or advanced influence or things of that nature. That's why you'll hear me often refer to the conscious part of your brain, the neocortex, as the rational lying brain. Right? It's the part of you that makes up stories to justify or make you think about why you're doing what you're doing. It doesn't actually get you to the reason you're doing it. And that's why many times when people go to talk therapies where they're talking about their problems over and over and over again, it takes years to get any kind of transformation beyond empathy at all. So in our clinic, and what we're going to talk about in today's webinar is what I call lovingly talking to the boss, getting the boss on the phone, right? I make a joke with my clients. I say, you know what? There's only 2 agents in the universe that know exactly where this problem started, what caused it, and where we need to go to fix it. That's God and your unconscious mind. Now, I don't know about you, but here in Southern California, we have really nice weather, except for today. It's raining for the first time in months, right? But we do have but usually we have really nice weather. We have a lot of golf courses because we have really nice weather most of the time. God plays a lot of golf. Doesn't always take my calls. But your unconscious mind, it's always home. It's waiting by the phone. And if we can talk to it and we can ask it the right way, nicely, it will, in fact, take us exactly where we need to go to do what we need to do to change the problem that is creating the behaviors or the symptoms that are causing us misery, that are causing us suffering or holding us back. How many of you here, by a show of hands, would like to learn how to get to that source and just fix it? Just show of hands in the chat. Just type in the chat. Okay. Now, here's the problem. And my friend Chase said this so eloquently. We're referring to Chase Hughes, by the way. He said this way: your unconscious mind. We're going to use the word. We're going to use the term autonomics or autonomic nervous system. I could use the abbreviation that the remote viewers use, the ANS, but it sounds an awful lot like a part of your anatomy. So please bear with me, right? Because we're not going to talk out of your anus, but we are, right? Oh my God, Chris Stombaugh, Jim Zakaria, Edie. Oh man, we got some alumni here this week. It's gonna be good, right? So Chase said your autonomic nervous system doesn't speak English. Oh, Seth's here, right? It doesn't speak Chinese. It doesn't speak French. It doesn't speak Latin. It doesn't even speak sign language, although that's probably closer. Your unconscious mind communicates in the language of sensation and sequence. So what does that mean? When you have a thought or you ask the unconscious mind a question, the first thing that pops up will always be the answer that comes from the unconscious mind. Okay, so what we tell our students and we tell our patients is your unconscious mind always answers first. Your unconscious mind always answers first. So as we walk through the transformations tonight, now again, like I said before, if this is the scope of everything there is regarding how to reprogram your subconscious mind, how to transform yourself in the ways that you truly want to be, I can't cover that in even a 2.5 or 3 hour webinar. So I only got time for this much. So I promise you this. I'm going to share with you some super powerful pieces from a program and an offer that we've put together for you tonight. And if I can deliver on my promise of showing you how to transform, how to introduce you to the power of your own subconscious mind in a way that you can begin to dialogue with it and understand what it's trying to do and how it works so that you can begin creating changes. How many of you would be willing to take that even further and act on the offer that I'm going to present, just by a show of hands? Would that be fair? Type 1 in the chat. That's fair. Agnes says fair. Excellent. Cosmic hands. Yay. Right. All right. So first and foremost, your unconscious mind always answers first. It always answers honestly. It always feels like you're making it up. You always have an urge to edit what just came up. It's never loud and it's never linear. So I'm going to say that 3 more times for those of you who've never heard this before. If you took nothing else from tonight's webinar in terms of personal transformation, reprogramming your subconscious mind, what have you, that's what you should be taking away. Your autonomic nervous system does not speak in words. Your conscious mind does. So when information comes up from the deep unconscious, the first thing that happens when the conscious mind senses it, it starts to build a story around it. It accesses memories, what we call a transderivational search. Transderivational search is a function kind of like a search engine where your brain starts opening files based on keywords. Now, the problem with that is that when your brain does that transderivational search, it finds every file connected to what it's looking for, but it doesn't give you conscious access to all of them. Let me say that 2 more times. When your brain does a file search, it opens up all the files connected to what it's looking for and it cherry picks which ones it gives to your conscious mind. And your conscious mind takes those and it builds stories around them. The problem with that process is that the energy or the information is coming up from the deep unconscious. The conscious mind grabs it and starts going this way with it, or this way with it, or this way with it, or this way with it. You ever notice that when you start to have a thought, you start to try to work things out, one thought leads to another thought, leads to another thought, and before you know it, you've played a game of Telegram in your own head where you're 27 topics away from where you started thinking? Have you ever noticed that? True or not true? I call that hamster wheeling. What's happened in those moments, your conscious mind is trying to work through something, but it keeps accessing files. Those files are taking it away from the source and into its, in NLP terms, we'd say you're chunking laterally instead of chunking down or chunking up, right? So the first thing that has to happen is we need to understand how to decode and interpret the information coming up from our autonomic nervous system, coming up from our unconscious mind. To do that effectively in the shortest, most bulletproof manner possible, you have to apply the following parameters. A, when you ask the unconscious mind a question, the first thing that pops up, no matter how ludicrous, insanely, consciously, logically unconnected it may seem, is always the right answer. Okay? First thing, the unconscious mind always answers first. Now, what happens after that? You ask the unconscious mind a question, something pops up, your brain goes, really? It always feels like you're making it up. And maybe you'll revisit that feeling and you'll say, yeah, it's really, your unconscious mind will always feel like it's, anything that comes up from your deep unconscious will always feel made up. Okay? The next thing that's immediately related to that, you'll always have an urge to edit what just came up. So I asked some so-and-so a question, or I asked you a question. First thing that pops up was A. Your brain goes, man, did I just make that up? Right? And then the next part that happens, well, what I meant was, so anytime as we go through our process, you find yourself doubting the first thing that pops into your head, understand that that's your unconscious or your conscious mind's attempt to grab a hold of that information and go its own way. It's going to take you away from the source problem and into something else. So remember this. And I gave them a little bit out of order, but it doesn't really matter. The unconscious mind will always answer you first. It will always answer you honestly. It will always feel like you're making it up. You'll always have an urge to edit what just came up. It's never loud and it's never linear. Let's talk about honesty for a moment. Your unconscious mind does know how to lie. It just doesn't. It's your conscious mind that chooses to lie. Okay. Now, that being said, when you get information and you extract information from your unconscious mind is going to give you what it believes to be true. It's going to answer you honestly. That does not necessarily mean factually correct. Your unconscious mind does not care about logic. It does not care about the facts. What it cares about is what it perceived as being true. So in hypnotherapy, in NLP, in our client work, we never challenge what a client tells us, especially when it's coming from the deep unconscious. Why? Because that's the program that person is running. Every single reason you think you have for why you're doing what you're doing is probably not even close to the real reason you're doing it. Okay? You think it's the real reason. But if I were to put you in my chair and regress you back to the very first scene, situation, or event that is the source, the beginning, the root cause, 9 out of 10 of you would be like, really? That? Because where you start versus where you end up looks very, very different. Okay. And if we want to get to the source of the problem fast, we have to be able to trust our unconscious. Okay. But the problem is in translation. When we get information from the deep unconscious, from the autonomic nervous system, it's not going to be in words. It'll be in feelings, sensations, tonalities, syntax, order, and sequence. Right? So how many of you guys are following me so far? Some of you, I know this is review, but review is good because this is what's always true. Right? Okay. All right. So let's go with, see, the thing I don't really do is the biggest inverted catalyst keeping. Okay. I'm getting some interesting traffic in the chat here, so I'm just trying to manage that really quickly. All right. So how many people here have something they'd like to change? Type in the chat if you got something you'd like to change. Oh, that got a lot of response. All right. Cool. All right. So the first thing to understand is you have 6 dynamics of an unconscious response. Okay. The unconscious mind will always answer you first. It will always answer you honestly. It will always feel like you're making it up. You always have an urge to edit what just came up. It's never loud. It's never linear. Can we all agree with those basic tenets? Yes or no? Yes or yes, as T. Harv Eker likes to say. Okay. Now, here's the other thing we need to understand. What the human nervous system creates, the human nervous system accepts. Now, when the problems we all want to change arise or come out, they seem to come out of nowhere. They have a very definitive triggers. And we keep thinking that I'm this way because I had a car accident when I was 16. I'm this way because I was raped when I was 15. I'm this way because there was an active shooter in my school when I was 12. I'm this way because I had mean narcissistic parents. I'm this way because. No, you're not. I know that's a very provocative thing to say. You are not the way you are because of the things that happen to you. You're the way you are because the way your autonomic nervous system recorded the thing that happened to you. For example, I use a car metaphor a lot. Let's say I'm 16 years old. I got my brand new 68 Plymouth Fury, and I'm happy as a clam. I'm driving through an intersection, don't see the other car, boom, T-boned by a pickup truck, right? Happens when I'm 16. 48 years later, every time I go through an intersection, I break out in a sweat or a panic attack, to the point where after 40 years, it's so bad I can't even drive through an intersection now. I have to actually walk or do something else, right? I think that it's the original event that caused the problem. It's not. That event happened. I got T-boned by a car one time in my life, right? Remember, this is a teaching story. I got T-boned by a car one time in my life, but my unconscious mind recorded that moment. And so every time I get near an intersection, because my unconscious mind wants to protect me, because part of my unconscious mind wants to solve the problem, it plays that recording and I relive that experience. And if you're like most people, the minute a less than positive emotion comes up, the first thing you want to do is stuff it down. For how many of you is this true? Type it in the chat. Okay. So here's my rather provocative statement. It wasn't the car that T-boned you in the first place that's the problem. It's the 48 plus years of you T-boning yourself in your own mind and body that's the problem. Right? It's not the thing that happened to you that's the problem. It's the way you've been recording and playing and relating to those things that have happened to you. And that's the best part, guys. Because by definition, if you survived to replay the recording, you beat the thing that attacked you. The worst is over. You survived it. Because when your unconscious mind goes into trauma mode or trauma recovery mode or trauma survival mode, it believes in that moment that you're going to die. And it's doing whatever, it doesn't know what to do, and it's doing everything it can to get you through that experience. Right? Now, in our identity by design program, we go through the whole trauma encoding process, how it works, what the unconscious mind does, the whole 9 yards. You'll understand it like it's the back of your hand. It's really, really simple. Right? And so your unconscious mind grabs all that information and it holds it in storage. Probably the best metaphor I can give you. How many of you here have ever heard of this thing called a computer? Anybody ever hear these things called? I think they're fads. I think they're, a few years they'll be passe, right? All right. How many of you have ever had worked with a Word document? Right? You ever been typing like this happened back when I was trying to be a writer? This was like my worst nightmare, right? You'd be typing away on your computer, and all of a sudden, your program would crash, or your whole computer would just spontaneously reboot. Has that ever happened? Right? And like the moment it crashes, there's this part of you that's going, right? And so what do? You swear, you curse, because you spend hours on that document. After you've done panicking and doing whatever, right? Maybe drinking heavily, right? You go into the computer, you reboot it, you go to open your Word document, and a little prompt comes up and says, hey, this program closed unexpectedly. Would you like to save your work? What do you do? Yes. Trauma happens, your conscious mind goes offline, grabs it. When you come back to conscious awareness, you pick up where you left off, but there's a file sitting there, unprocessed. How many of you have ever had the experience of you boot up your computer one day and you didn't know it, but there were a bunch of files you had open that closed unexpectedly, right? And when you go to log into your software, it says, hey, these files need to be restored or rescued or whatever. Would you like to restore them now? What would you like to do with these files? You ever had that experience? That's trauma. Using a computer, that's what your nervous system does. When you encounter something that traumatizes you, it grabs that information and locks it in the hard drive we call the body. And every time you go through an environment or a context or a situation that is remotely similar to what caused that file to be there in the first place, your unconscious mind says, hey, what do you want to do with this file? Now, most of us do this. We're driving down the road, not a care in the world. It's a beautiful sunny day. Radio's playing. Got the cloud, not a cloud in the sky. Got the sun in my eye, right? You're driving down the road feeling amazing. And all of a sudden, a crappy memory from when you were 7 pops up out of nowhere. Now, do you go rushing off to the side of the road to go into trance and find that puppy and fix it? Or do you do what most of us do? So I don't want to think about that. You turn the radio up louder, hit the accelerator, and do your best to think of something else. Anybody? Well, every time you do that, your unconscious mind says, strike 1, strike 2. For every unit of energy stored in your unconscious mind, you need an equal or greater amount of energy to keep it there. And the unconscious mind will only accumulate so much energy on an emotional level or a cognitive level before that starts to become a physiological issue. Okay. In Chinese medicine, all emotions are referred to as, or everything starts with qi stagnation, which is stress or tension. From qi stagnation, we go to blood stagnation. From blood stagnation, we go to every other form of malady that human beings can exhibit. Okay. But the truth is, the traumas that we've accumulated are just recordings of things that happened to us once, in most cases. And your unconscious mind built them all the same way, from the same stuff, using the same programming. So if you understand how to log in to the dashboard of your unconscious mind, and you understand the programming language, you can reprogram anything you want into just about anything you want. But you first have to find the file. So we have two kinds of files. We have files that we know about and files that we don't. We say that two more times. All of your traumas, all of your limiting beliefs, all of your that result in behaviors that hold you back are the result of a program in a file. There's files we know about, and there's files that we don't. The files we know about are easy to unpack and attack. What really holds us back in our lives are the files we don't know about. The files that were saved to the hard drive because of a crash of some kind that are just waiting for us to find them and fix them. There's only one way that I know of to find those things. You have to ask the unconscious mind in the right way. Sometimes you can do it through a blind technique like gray room or universal solvent, which we talk about in Identity by Design and Secrets of Personality Transformation. Other times, the only way to find those limiting files or those negative files that are hidden on your hard drive is to provoke them. By provoking them, I mean there is something those files are keeping us from doing or experiencing or causing us to do or experience. We have to do the opposite of that in order to provoke the file and bring it to the surface. Why am I telling you that? Because in the process that we're about to do, I'm going to start to give you the fundamentals for learning how to communicate and mediate communication between your conscious mind and your autonomic nervous system. Okay? And we have to apply certain understandings to that process in order for us to really empower ourselves. Okay. So Lisa's saying, how can we erase the trauma file? Can we reframe that event? You can reframe it. The problem is that many times when you try to cognitively reframe an event, your heart doesn't buy it. Right? And it's usually because there's an emotional charge or the perception that we're lying to ourselves or that that particular reframe is being imposed on us. We have a whole course. In fact, it's part of the science offer. It's called Renegade Reframing, how to change any belief during a normal conversation in 30 seconds or less. It's a very powerful program designed for self-work as well as sales, marketing, and hypnotic influence. But the truth is that if you don't create an environment in that person's nervous system of receptivity to the reframe only goes to the head, but not the heart, and so now you create this cognitive dissonance in the body, which is the body fighting its own two conflicting ideas. We don't want that, right? The problems that we have are usually because one part of you wants something and another part of you wants something different, but they both want to help, right? There's lots of different ways that we manifest things that limit us, but at the end of the day, they're attempts to resolve a program that's running inside of us that has a significant event that is its core root. And if we change that root, we change the behaviors and we change the results we produce. Now, it sounds really complicated and it sounds really intricate. The truth is that change doesn't have to be hard. If you have the right steps, change can be very, very systematic. It can be very, very predictable. Right? For those, when I was talking about the avatars of who's on the call tonight, I'm a freedom-seeking rebel, and I am a master controller kind of a person. When I look for solutions, I look for something that is consistent, reliable, efficient, repeatable. Right? No BS. This is how you get the job done, and it works 10 out of 10 times, or close to 10 out of 10 times as it's humanly possible to get. That's what we're doing tonight. Okay, and that's what the entire program that these things are drawn from will do for you. But the first thing you have to understand, if you want change to be fast, there's some principles you have to understand and embody, right? They're not hard principles, but they have to be honored in that process. So the first thing is the 6 dynamics. Unconscious mind always answers first. It always answers honestly. It always feels like you're making it up. You always have an urge to edit what just came up. It's never loud and it's never linear. Okay, are we good with that? If you're good with that, type the 6 dynamics in the chat so I know you got it. Oh shit, he's actually teaching us shit today. Yes, I am. And I'm not about selling the sizzle and not the steak. So 6 dynamics, very good. Okay. A little bit more little than I expected, but that's good enough for me. Okay, so let's talk about the next big piece. If you can point to where you feel it, you can change it. Say that 2 more times. If you can point to where you feel it, you can change it. Every behavior that we engage in is triggered by the unconscious mind accessing a set of memories that generate a body feeling that we either want more of or that we want less of. Let me say that 2 more times. Every behavior that moves us towards something or away from something is triggered by a set of body feelings that are connected to memories. So when I say everything human beings do is in response to a feeling they either want more of or a feeling they want a whole lot less of, that's what I mean. And so when we work on this process, if I can point, every body feeling has what we call a somatic address. There's a place in your body where all that information comes together and is expressed in a way that causes you to take an action. Okay. Now, a lot of times that body feeling is not something you're focused on, but it's something that's driving your bus. Okay. If you've ever heard me talk about Paul Ekman's emotional refractory period, or you've heard people talk about the reticular formation system or the reticular activating system in the context of law of attraction, all of those things are perceptual mechanisms that are governed and mediated through body feelings. Okay. So when I have a feeling that makes me do something, right? If I can find where in my body that feeling starts and I point to it, I've now found the USB plug that I can log in to that dashboard, and I can start to make change, right? Do I need to know, do I have to have years and years and years of psychology training or psychiatry training or NLP training to do this? No, you don't, right? If you want to understand it and understand all the principles and theories and why this works, then maybe you do. But if you just want to change stuff, you don't need to know that. It's fun to know it. Gives you a lot more power in the work, but to make change happen right now, you don't need it. If you can point to where you feel it, you can change it. Seth says, I've seen that on a poster somewhere. In fact, I have. In fact, he has. Right? In fact, it's right behind me, right here, as a matter of fact. Right? So I want you to get out a piece of paper. I want you to think of 5 things that you'd like to change. Just write them down. Right? Now, I would prefer, for the simplicity of tonight, that you pick something that on a scale of 0 to 10, it's a 1, 2, or 3. I know most of you are going to go for that 8s, 9s, and 10s because that's just how it works. That negativity bias in your nervous system makes you go for things, right? And that's okay, right? But I want you to think of 5 things that you want to change, you want to get less of or get rid of in your life. And I want you to think of 5 things that you want more of. What are you not getting from your life right now that would make all the difference in your world? Because if I could show you how to get rid of one and program yourself for the other, would that be useful? So Shadow is saying, sometimes I'm sort of afraid when I totally feel as if I comprehend something perceivable, difficult in a rather short period of time. Okay. I'm going to give you guys a little loving advice. Don't overthink what we're about to do. There's this tendency in when people are doing transformation work, especially transformation work that it requires altered states. Some people, especially people who've never been hypnotized or have no training in hypnosis, go into what we call smart person syndrome. What that means is that when I'm guiding you through a process, there's a part of you that's trying to learn what I'm doing and analyze what I'm doing. There's a part of you that's trying to have the experience. There's another part of you that's on the outside trying to wonder if the process is actually working. So if there's a part of you that's trying to learn what I'm doing, a part of you that's trying to analyze what I'm doing, a part of you that's trying to have the experience that I'm doing, another part of you that's wondering if it's working or not, how absorbed and focused are you in the process? The answer is you're not. You don't need to believe a single thing that we're about to do for it to work for you. You don't. That's what I love about this work. You don't need to believe it, but you do have to want it, and you do have to follow the instructions. Okay? If you can point to where you feel it, you can change it. right? Now, when I say absorption and focus, what do I actually mean? Well, absorption is very simple. How many of you, by show of me in the chat, have ever been little children? Just type it in the chat. If you've ever been a little child, there's always someone out there that says, no, I was born in a test tube, fully formed. Well, did you play pretend as a child? No, I practiced computational model. Right? Go away. Right? If that was you, go away. I don't need to talk to you. Seth, I'm talking to you. No, I'm teasing. Right? But remember when you were a little kid, right? You're in the backyard playing pretend, maybe 3, 4, 5 years old. And maybe you loved to play with your dolls and you had tea parties and your dolls would talk to you. You would talk to your dolls, or maybe you played school teacher or house or toy soldier. Whatever it was that you played pretend at as a little kid, I want you to remember the best experience of doing that. And I want you to remember how when you started out, like you knew, like if you were playing soldier, for example, you picked up a stick and you were pretending it was your toy gun, right? And you're looking for the bad guys, right? Or you're playing cops and robbers and you got your toy gun. There's a part of you, even in your 3 or 4 or 5-year-old mind, that knows consciously it's a toy for about the first 5 minutes. About 6.5, 7 minutes later, as you're going through the motions of being a soldier or being a cop or playing school teacher or whatever, you forget that it's make-believe. And all of a sudden it's real. And you're shooting bad guys and you're serving tea and you're teaching your class and you're talking to your stuffed animals and your stuffed animals are talking back to you and you're having the best time ever. Let me ask you a question. When you were going through that moment, were you asleep? Probably not, right? Were you extremely absorbed in what you were doing? Were you focused? Ladies and gentlemen, if you can do that and point to where you feel it, then ask the right question. You can change anything you want into just about anything you want. And the longer I do this work, and I keep getting tested, the longer I do this work, the less and less I find you can't put a massive dent at the very least, if not get rid of completely, with these techniques. And the best part, you don't have to believe it. You just got to want it and follow the instructions. So let's play a little bit, shall we? You guys ready to play? Yeah, type yes in the chat if you're ready to play. All right. I want you to look at one of the things on your screen or on your sheet. Close your eyes and think of that thing that you want to change. Notice where in your body you feel it. Point to where you feel it, first impression. Now keep your eyes. Now, open your eyes real quick. Let me just, I need to do this because somebody out there is going to try to do this. I know it. These processes involved altered states of consciousness. They involve eye closure, right? If you are driving, operating equipment, or anything that requires your full and undivided attention to accomplish safely and effectively, do not do these processes. Wait for the replay, right? If you want to join with us and you want to do these things with us, then if you're driving or operating machinery or whatever, stop the vehicle or the machinery, turn it off, put it in safety mode, right? Secure the vehicle, secure yourself, make sure you're completely safe. You won't be disturbed. Nothing weird will happen. Like the cat or the dog won't jump in your lap. The phone won't go off. People won't walk in on you. If you're doing this in the middle of Starbucks and get up and start spinning shit and putting it back in, people might look at you weird. So if you're okay with that, keep going, right? But again, if you're doing anything that requires a clear head and awareness of your environment, do not do this, right? I take no responsibility for any of you who do not follow these disclaimers, okay? And I have a lawyer on here, so he knows, right? You're fully taking full responsibility for the results you produce with this, okay? That being said, for those of you who are ready, I want you to close your eyes. We're going to do two things. First, we're going to prime ourselves with a really powerful resource, right? This is something I do with my client, a variation of this I do with all my clients before we do any other kind of work. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to take a deep breath in and let that breath out with a sigh. Deeper and deeper with every breath you take and every beat of your heart. I just want you to relax. Let go. Listen to the sound of my voice. Any sounds you hear other than the sounds of my voice are simply the sounds of your natural environment or mine. They're not going to disturb you. They're not going to distract you in any way. In fact, all they're going to do is signal you, remind you, reinforce inside your mind, body, and soul the fact that you're completely safe. That no matter how far inside you travel, no matter how deep inside you go, you will always, always, always be able to hear my words, follow my instructions, obey my commands. Not because I'm some big authority figure or anything like that, but simply because you realize, you recognize that everything I say and everything I do is for you. To give you the life and the lifestyle that you want, the way that you want it, by your standards and your definitions. Now, in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to focus all of your attention on the lids of your eyes. I want you to relax those tiny muscles in your eyelids, and I want you to keep relaxing them. Relax them more and more and more until they're so relaxed, they just don't want to work anymore. And when you're satisfied, you're convinced they're so relaxed, they just don't want to work anymore, all I want you to do is give them a quick test just to be sure. And when you're satisfied, I want you to go ahead and stop testing. Allow that level of relaxation to flow from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes, deeper and deeper with every breath you take, with every beat of your heart. I just want you to relax and let go. Just let go. Perfect. Now remember, even though I'm talking to you specifically, we're all here together as a group. Now, some of you who've done this exercise before, you'll know exactly what's coming next. You'll maybe moving ahead of my speak. Some of you have no idea what's coming next, but you're right with me in real time. The rest of you may be processing at a little slower pace or at your own pace and speed. That's okay. As long as your unconscious can hear my words, your unconscious can follow my instructions easily, effortlessly, and automatically, using its own unique genius to do it the right way, your way. Now, in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'd like you to notice, I'd like you to begin to relax your mind just as deeply as we've relaxed your body. And we're going to do that in a very special way. In a moment, I'd like you to begin to imagine the alphabet backwards, starting with the letter Z. With each and every breath you take, each and every beat of your heart, starting with the letter Z, all I want you to do, at your own rate and speed, is relax those letters completely out of your mind. Allow them, if you will, to become smaller and darker and harder to see. Turn the volume all the way down, 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 deeper, deeper, down, down, down. Now, obviously, I can't do this for you. Only you have that power. Only you have that ability. Only you can allow this to happen. And when you know they're gone and you're as deeply relaxed in your mind as you are in your body, all I want you to do is allow your head to nod with honest, unconscious movements to let me know. And we'll continue with the next part of our process, drifting, dreaming. That's right. Smaller and darker, harder to see. Turning the volume all the way down, 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 deeper and deeper, and deeper still. Doing great. Now, no matter where you are in this process, your unconscious, which can do many things at the same time, can follow my words easily and naturally. And to that effect, in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to do something for me. I'm always curious when I ask my clients and my students to do these things, how it might be for them. And in a moment, I'm going to ask you what it might be like to, if you might be able to imagine a place, a wonderful place, a magical and beautiful place. a place that is so joyful, so happy, so nurturing and nourishing, so loving, forgiving, accepting, positive, transformational. A place that is so absolutely protective and safe that no negativity of any kind could exist there for even a fraction of a second without being immediately vaporized or turned into its opposite. I'm curious, I'm wondering if y'all might be able to imagine what a wonderful, magical place like that might be like. You know? I mean, what might you see or be seeing when you're in that place? What might you hear or be hearing when you're in that place? What might you smell? What might you taste? Because when you do that, when you're in that place, when you see what you see and you hear what you hear and you smell and you taste what you smell and you taste, there is an amazing, wonderful, transformational, liberating feeling that you get, a feeling that lets you know you are truly safe. And I'd like you to notice, I'd like you to become aware, I'd like you to realize that there's a place in your body where those amazing, wonderful, all-powerful, magical feeling transformations start, where they grow, where they spread from. Take a moment, notice where you feel that, and point to it. And as you do, I want you to become aware that there's a color, maybe even a series of colors connected to those amazing feelings. What color or colors might that be for you? First impression. Whatever that color is or colors are, I'd like you to imagine a beautiful ball of that energy floating above your head. Notice how the feelings in your body shift and change as with every breath you take and every beat of your heart. That amazing ball of energy begins to grow, begins to expand, begins to fill your entire being. From floor to ceiling, from wall to wall, and all points in between. Notice how it wraps itself around you like an amazing blanket of safety, a cocoon, a shield, a suit of armor, insulating you, protecting you from all dangers, all threats, real or imagined, while at the same time flooding your mind, flooding your body, flooding your spirit with everything it most wants, everything it most needs, and an infinite, ever expanding and unlimited supply. And when you know you've got that, breathe those amazing colors once again through your entire being. Let it fill you up like water fills up a bottle, like fluid fills up a test tube, like hot air or helium fills up a balloon. Anchor it in so fully, so completely. No force in the universe can turn it off, take it away, not even you. Take all the time you need to feel complete. When you realize it's true, it's impossible to turn off, impossible to go back to the way it was, only get stronger. My friend, I want you to test it. Try to turn it off, try to take it away, and notice what happens instead. When you're satisfied, and only when you're satisfied, I want you to go ahead and stop testing. Scan your body, notice how good you feel. Now, this particular power, we call this the safe energy, the safe place. This energy, from this moment forward, will go with you. It's my gift to you. Anytime you need it, anytime you need safety, comfort, protection, confidence, anytime you're feeling overwhelmed, this energy will flow through you in an infinite, ever-expanding, and unlimited supply. It will wash away all stress, all strain, all fear, all worry, all doubt, anything that causes you to act in ways you don't want to act, to say things you don't want to say, or to not do the things you know you need and want to do, or not say the things you know you need and want to say. This energy will come in and will completely neutralize those mechanisms, giving you the ability to perform the function that you want to perform at the exact level you want to perform it. Now, that's just the very beginning, because for as long as your heart continues to beat, for as long as your lungs continue to breathe, this energy will go with you. This energy will only become stronger, more powerful, more irresistible in every conceivable way. So in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to scan your body one more time. And this time, I'd like you to become aware of any place in your mind, any place in your body, any place in your spirit where you're holding on to any form of density or tightness or tension. Because you see, many times as we move through the world, as we travel through the video game of life, as I like to call it, we encounter situations and circumstances that cross our boundaries, overwhelm us, take us by surprise, install things or imprint things in us that we didn't ask for, that we didn't want, that we would have, had we been able to choose differently, would have decided no. Just like when the software crashes and it saves those files in that moment of trauma, your unconscious mind grabbed a hold of those files, those memories, locked them in the hard drive we call the body, waiting for the time when, equipped with the right technology, guided with the right expertise, with the right username and password, you could log back into that system and tell the system what to do with those files instead of what it's been doing. So as you scan your body and you find those files, those areas of density or tightness or tension, conscious or otherwise, I want you to breathe your all-powerful, safe energy through those areas. Let it flow over, around, and through those areas like hot water flowing over an ice cube. Notice how those areas begin to melt and dissolve away. Solve, dissolved, and resolved from your body. Solve, dissolved, and resolved from your mind for all the right reasons. Your reasons. There's no need to measure it or manage it or make it happen faster. Just notice that process taking place. Allow that melting to continue. And when you know it's done, it's locked in, all that stuff's just flowing out of you like water down a drain. My friend, I want you to test it. Try to bring those old feelings back. Notice what happens instead. Take all the time you need in the next few minutes to feel complete while I continue to talk. Now, in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. As I reach the number 5, you can emerge from this process only at the rate and speed that your entire system is in complete harmony, complete agreement, complete accord with these new transformations and installations that we've guided you through, realizing that as good as this was, it's only going to get better. Each night while you sleep and while you dream, your nervous system will change. It will evolve. Parts of your brain, parts of your nervous system will reach out to other parts of your brain, to other parts of your nervous system, giving you access to new skills, new abilities, new understandings, new perceptions about yourself, the world, and everyone in it. It will systematically prune away any belief, memory, or experience that's holding you back, that's limiting you in any way that's not useful for you. Each morning upon awakening, you will see the world through new eyes. You'll hear the world through new ears. You'll smell and taste and feel the world through a mind, body, and soul, alive, alive, alive with transformations. Realizing each day in every way, your system will simply continue to grow and evolve and improve by your standards and your definitions. And as you begin to implement the strategies and tactics that you'll be learning in the future with me, you'll discover these transformations accelerating, amplifying, and generalizing into every aspect and application of your life that's truly important to you. As you move through the world and you find yourself in situations and circumstances and events that might have in the past challenged you or made you feel unresourceful, all you have to do is remember that beautiful ball of safety energy floating above your head. Expand it to fill the room. Wrap it around you. Breathe it through your own mind, body, soul, and spirit in any place where you're holding on to any less than positive feelings, and experience those feelings dissolving away. Feel yourself returning to a more resourceful, empowered, confident, comfortable state, able to easily perform the functions with complete poise, and comfort, and peace, dare I say, maybe even joy and playfulness. That's my gift to you for being part of tonight's webinar, for willing to follow along, for following the instructions, for obeying the commands. And this energy will only grow stronger. Each and every time you use it, it will come through for you stronger than the time before, becoming an unstoppable, empowering resource that allows you to clear the things that are holding you back and set the stage for the things you truly want and aspire to become. That's my gift to each and every one of you, from you to your own unconscious mind, and from your unconscious mind to you. Because if you can name it and describe it, you have the power to create it. It's all within your unconscious now. So take a moment or two to feel complete. As I count from 1 to 5, you can find yourself returning to this physical reality, bringing all these changes, transformations, and revelations with you. Seeing the world through those eyes, hearing the world through those ears, smelling and tasting and feeling the world through that mind, body, and soul, alive, alive, alive with transformations, coming back only at the rate and speed that every level of your mind, every level of your body, every level of your spirit is in complete harmony, complete agreement with these new instructions, able to carry them out fully and completely, or something even better. Number 1, feel yourself returning to this place we call reality, bringing with you the master keys to transforming it into an even better one. Number 2, all of my suggestions and directions from me to you, from you to your very own other than conscious mind, are now 10 times more powerful, 100 times more permanent, 1,000 times more thrilling, fulfilling, and satisfying than ever before. Embraced, held, locked into that part of your mind, body, and soul that most wants, desires, can perceive, believe, manifest, embody, and achieve all of these changes in all the ways that give you the life you want, the way that you want it, by your standards and your definitions. Number 3, because there's always at least 3 ways to overcome any situation, obstacle, or circumstance. There's always at least 3 solutions to any problem you need to solve. And from this moment forward, your all-powerful other than conscious mind will now easily, effortlessly, and automatically generate those solutions and implement them in the quickest, easiest, most effective way for the good of yourself and all concerned. Number 4, because it's all for you, my friend. You've made the investment. You've done the work. You've followed the instructions. You've obeyed the commands. You've tested the results. You've most certainly earned the rewards, or you will, and the right to keep them. It's your reality. It's your truth. It's your life. You get to live it to the fullest, starting now. On the next count, you can emerge from this process only at the rate and speed that you've truly got this. Only at the rate and speed that every level of your mind, body, soul, and spirit is in complete alignment, complete harmony, complete agreement, implementing, facilitating, and manifesting all of these changes in all the ways that give you the life you want, the way that you want it. Number 4. Number 5, feeling good all over, glad to be alive, ready to thrive. Number 5, take your time, come on back. Notice how good you feel. When you're back, and only when you're back, type back in the chat, and then I'll proceed with the next part of our process. All right, Stuart's back, Kaya's back, Agnes is back. Zach is purple. All right. Take your time, guys. There's no rush. I laid it on a little heavy this time, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit of bang for your buck. So All right. So what we just went through is what we call the safe place induction. It's one of the preliminary parts of the transformational work that we do in Secrets of Personality Transformation, in our Identity by Design silo, in our advanced regression training. It's something that if you see clients or you work with clients, this is something, and you deal with any form of trauma, this particular process is something that will completely transform, no pun intended, your change work. It'll make things so much easier to manage and just allow the clients to completely let go and follow your instructions. If you're someone who's constantly dealing with anxiety or has a lot of stuff in their past that gets triggered at rare and unexpected moments, this particular resource is really powerful in just bringing the nervous system back into a state of equilibrium, peace, and comfort. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can use this. We don't have time to cover them here, but we cover them fully and completely in the program we're going to talk about next, which is where we're going to go next. So I told you guys I had an offer. I told you guys I put a package together for you, that I would bring things from that package and teach them to you at the beginning of this webinar, and then I would show you where to go to get access to the full training. Is that still true for you guys? Are you guys ready to figure out how to get access to the full training? Type yes in the chat. Cool. All right. So we're going to go through this as quickly, but as comprehensively as possible. And then we're going to come back and we're going to go back to the things on our list. And now that we've got the foundation, what we call the safe place induction. I think this is the first cohort I've ever done the full safe place induction on a webinar. So you guys are like you guys are special, apparently. Usually I do pleasure, which is the safest one to do. For those of you, just a little fun factoid. If you are a trauma worker, oh, Jim says I need the safe place for my next. Yeah, for sure. Do this every night before you go to bed. Do it when you get up in the morning. Do it 3 or 4 times a day. Once you have the safe place installed, Jim, you don't need to keep doing the full induction, although you can. All you got to do is remember where you felt it, remember the color, fill the room with the color, wrap it around you, breathe it through your body. Now, that's the general tonic way to do it. If there's a specific feeling you want to get rid of, the first thing you want to do is point to where you feel the thing you want to change, right? Make sure it's okay to change it. Ask your nervous system, what color is it? Ask your nervous system what color would dissolve it. Combine that with your safe energy, breathe it through that area, and you'll find many times that whole area of sensation will just change. Right? You don't need to know why it works. There's a lot of good neuroscience behind this, a lot of good other types of things behind it. You don't need to know all the bells and whistles. Just point to where you feel it, turn it into a color, ask the right questions, the magic happens. And if people want, we can go further into the process. I just kind of gave you the 1,000-foot view to Jim on part 3 of the webinar once we've gone through the program, right? So very powerful stuff, right? One of the things that kind of separates us from the way a lot of people approach hypnosis and NLP, somatic therapy, and psychotherapy, things of that. One of the things that really kind of stands out for our approach to change work is the integration of different aspects of the nervous system using a common language. So one of the things that you'll learn about in your program is that all the elements of the Planet David change work, to use a fun little term, they have vivification. In other words, we're always acting out the change work. Constructive metaphor, there will always be some kind of imagined construct that we're manipulating as part of our vivification. And then strategic suggestion. Somatic engagement, we're going to get the body involved with everything that we do. Okay? Because the body is the storehouse. It's the crossroads for all the things that drive our behaviors. And if we control the crossroads, we control access both ways, right? So that being said, with your permission, I'd like to talk about something I put together for you guys just for tonight. And I have one extra super surprise mystery bonus that's not even my web team, my webinar team, who's running the back end right now, even knows about. They're going to be super upset when I tell them about this, but that's okay. You heard it first. So without further ado, I'd like to share with you the Master Your Mind, Reality Reprogramming and Personal Transformation home study course. This is a program that I'm very proud of. It combines some of our most powerful transformational live events in a video format that you can use from home. One of the challenges that we've had with our post-COVID universe is that nobody wants to travel anymore, or the cost of traveling has become somewhat prohibitive for certain classes of people. And so the challenge became, well, how do I help people who can't travel? And I put together, and if they were going to learn from home, how would I do it? And what would they need to have? And what would be the set of courses that gives you the greatest bang for your buck, that gives you the greatest amount of transformation in the shortest amount of time? And that's what I put together into this program. So I'm really proud of it, and I'm excited to share it with you. And I think you're going to love it too. The Master Your Mind program is all about taking your life to the next level and unleashing your full potential. It's about manifesting wealth and abundance, the master keys to persuasion and influence, transforming your relationships, and becoming unstoppably confident and charismatic, breaking free from fear and procrastination, and let's put self-sabotage in there too. Ultimately, my friends, it's about creating rapid, lasting change and transformation using powerful techniques specifically designed to help you on your own reprogram your own subconscious mind. But not only your own subconscious mind, we've also included trainings in this program to help you help other people do the exact same thing. And that's why I'm very excited about this, because I don't believe you change the world in groups. I believe you change one person at a time and it becomes a group, and that group becomes a movement. So if I just changed you tonight, then I've done my job. If you change one person as a byproduct of this training, as a byproduct of this information, you've helped change the world too and made the world a better place. And if you can make a living by doing transformation work for people, so much the better, right? So here's what we've got. Now, this offer is good until tonight, 11:59 p.m., October 14th. And it's going to include the Master Your Mind training. It's 14 videos that include our entire 7-stage identity by design process. This is a process that teaches you how to systematically remove the unconscious negativity and emotions you didn't even know you had. You just went through a very basic general negativity clearing process in the safe place induction you just did, right? You may have noticed things starting to evolve and melt, to dissolve and melt away. You didn't know what the hell they were, or you may have known, right? So things you didn't even know you had just started to dissolve and melt away. That's where you start. It's kind of like soaking the pot before you scrubbed all the trouble spots out to make them easier to get off. We're going to teach you how to remove the unconscious safety rules. If you've ever found yourself dating the same person with a different face, or having the same boss at 5 different jobs that you've had, right? Or you keep making the same mistake over and over again in spite of the fact that you keep trying to do something different. Chances are what you've got is a self-repeating pattern that has a lesson attached to it by the unconscious mind. We call those safety rules. And there's a part of you, there's a subroutine in that program that's saying, hey, if we let go of this, you may forget the lesson and you'll do this shit again. So I'm going to make sure that you never forget it by making sure it keeps happening to you until you learn the lesson. Chances are you haven't been able to conscious mind your way out of that behavior. You're not going to. There's a very simple, very elegant process that we teach. We call it the magic frame, that allows you to go right to the core of that problem, find the message and the safety rules that your unconscious mind is using to keep that problem in place, resolving it so your unconscious mind will let the rest go. It's a very powerful process. We may even do 1 or 2 of those after this, right? If you stay on to the end of the webinar. We're going to teach you how to remove the negative voices in your head that hold you back. Now, we all know what I'm talking about. It's that voice in your head that gives you all the reasons why you can't do something, why you shouldn't do something. That's the voice of fear. That's the voice saying, hey, there's a possibility of success, but it's not certain. We're going to go for what we know for sure, because the unconscious mind sorts for what's familiar. We usually inherit those voices from our parents, from our primary caregivers. In their well-meaning attempts to raise us right, they install crappy programming in our heads that later become these little AIs that are running automatically. I'm going to show you step by step by step in Identity by Design and Secrets of Personality Transformation how to remove it so that they don't come back. And that voice, instead of becoming your biggest, most harshest critic, becomes your greatest cheerleader, mentor, and confidant. I'm going to teach you how to install 4 pillars of personal power and success: curiosity, playfulness, victory, relentlessness. These are go-to states. These are default driver states that allow you to move through the world with a sense of self-determinism, of being in charge of your life, right? They're the ones that will allow you to enjoy good feelings and not keep you stuck, right? There's an old saying, comfort zones are wonderful places, but nothing ever grows there. When I was going through this program and putting this program together, I realized that what happens to most people when they find a happy place, they tend to want to stay there as long as possible. And so they stop moving forward and until things start to get bad again. And then they start to try to catch up. So I asked myself a question: are there, in fact, positive emotional states that when we engage in them still motivate us and inspire us to keep moving forward instead of trying to maintain the status quo? And I found 4. I'm sure there's more, but the ones that I came up with are the ones that I was just talking about. A sense of playfulness. None of us really resist the urge to play. A sense of curiosity. Insatiable curiosity always drives us to want to find out more, right? A sense of relentless determination. In all of my travels and all the souls that I've encountered who are truly successful, from some of the most infamous people I know to some of the most famous and loving people I know, the one thing that connects them all, the one trait that I see manifested over and over and over again, is the trait of relentless determination. That no matter what happens, no matter what gets in their way, no matter who gets in their way, no matter what resources they have, no matter what resources they don't have, they are going to find a way. And they keep adapting and changing and moving until they figure it out. So if there is a backbone to success, a backbone to transformation, a backbone to becoming the person you truly want to be, it's relentlessness. And I'm going to show you a very powerful, unstoppable technique for programming that into you so that you not only have it as a default in your life, you actually have a trigger that allows you to amplify it and boost that relentless determination and victory anytime you want and need it. I'm going to teach you how to systematically sanitize all the negative energy from your past memories and traumas, harvest that energy, and move it all into your positive memories so that they become stronger, more powerful, and irresistible, so that when you look back on the past, you only remember it in ways that make your life better. Okay? What would that be like if you could look back on every time you remembered something in the past, it just filled you with excitement and joy and happiness and a sense of adventure, of certainty and confidence, right? What would you not be willing to do with a past like that? We're going to show you how to have it. Okay, we're going to teach you finally how to borrow the traits, qualities, and characteristics of people whose skill sets you really admire and imprint them, install them like a computer program or a template into your own autonomic nervous system, so that as you employ the skills, you have a template to follow and grow into. It's really, really powerful. It's based on the concept and the process is called deep trance identification. And if you've ever seen my video, Captain Jack the Hypnotist, you'll see me actually doing this particular training with somebody while actually doing deep trance identification on one of my alter egos. It was a lot of fun to do. I apologize for the audio quality, but if you want to see what that looks like so you can learn how to do it in this course, then by all means, you can find it on my YouTube channel. But we're going to teach you all this nuts and bolts and all the steps for doing that in this program. Ultimately, we're going to give you the Real World Hypnosis Identity by Design course manual, which is our textbook for both Secrets of Personality Transformation and Identity by Design. Total value on this is $2,497. But as Ron Popeil would say, but wait, there's more. If you grab this program today, if you click the links in the box right now, you're going to get some of the following special bonuses. A, we're going to give you, let me see if I think that's the wrong slide. You're also going to get the Identity by Design Hypnotherapy Home Study Program. Now, this is a public-facing version of our hypnotherapy certification course. So Master Your Mind, which is based on our Secrets of Personality Transformation training is the identity by design silo taught in the context of self-hypnosis. In other words, the Master Your Mind core training is about doing the 7-stage identity by design silo on yourself, by yourself, for yourself. The hypnotherapy home study course takes it even further. It's going to teach you how to do instant and rapid hypnotic inductions, the building blocks of inductions, the 6 layers of trance and trance phenomena. It's going to teach you imagination games that you can play with your clients to help them do your processes faster. It's going to teach you the power of instant and rapid inductions so that you can confidently hypnotize people anytime, anywhere, under any situation or circumstance. It's going to teach you how to deal with abreactive clients. If you're going through a hypnotic process with someone and all of a sudden they start having flashbacks or sort of thrashing around and doing crazy things, right? This is the most hypnotherapists and most hypnotists' worst nightmare, is that they're going to put somebody into a trance process and all hell is going to break loose and they don't know how to put the genie back in the bottle. We have very, very specific drills. Nobody in the industry is doing this. We have very, very specific drills dramatically designed to teach you how to manage that in the most provocative and confidence-building way possible. Nobody's doing it. And once you do those drills, nothing gets in your way. You become some of the most fearless, unstoppable hypnotists on the planet. We call it real-world hypnosis because our belief is when you're trained in this process, you should have the ability to do these things anytime, anywhere, under any situation or circumstance, for any reason. And we train you that way. And that training is mirrored in the home study course. So this is not just about the identity by design silo, which you will learn in depth. There is so much more to this. We'll teach you how to evaluate clients, how to get clients salivating to want to work with you, right? It's a $1,497 value. We're going to give this to you absolutely free. Why? Because we want you to do well by doing good. We want you to have, if for no other reason, the ability to help other people. And if you are a coach or a mentor or a therapist of some kind, it's another way that you can help your clients get transformation. It's a way that you can make a difference in their life, find the real reasons behind their presenting problems, and fix them fast, anytime, anywhere, under any situation or circumstance. And honestly, I've under-described what is in this course. It is truly, truly a game changer for you. Total combined value, if you looked at everything we've got so far, and I'll talk about the hypnotic laws of attraction or hidden laws of attraction in just a minute. But I wanted to talk about this one first. Total value on this is $5,491. So let's talk about hidden laws of attraction. Hidden laws of attraction is kind of a fun course that I threw in here. And the reason that I did was because a lot of us who are into transformation, that are into personal development, we hear the word manifestation and vibration and energy and mindset and all these things thrown around in the context of manifesting your ideal life. And again, what I see when I move through that world, I see a lot of stuff being put out there that misses the mark, that causes people to buy a program and then they just can't make it work, right? And so what I decided to do was include this course because Identity by Design and Master Your Mind are all about all the hidden reasons why most approaches to the law of attraction do not work. And once you have those fixed, if you apply this program, Hidden Laws of Attraction, you'll be able to synergistically program your mind to pull things into your life that are, in some cases, are nothing short of miraculous. Now, again, I have to make a disclaimer because the FTC says so. My results may not be typical, right? I can promise you this, though. If you don't take this course, if you don't do the work, you won't get anything. I guarantee that's true. But I do promise you that if you actually grab this course for yourself and you apply the trainings in it, your life will change. And it will change in the direction of everything you want to be, do, and have. Okay? The only thing I really can't predict is degree and speed, but I do know it will happen, right? We're going to teach you in this program how to systematically use the power of your unconscious mind to manifest anything you want, practically anytime you want, right? I'm going to teach you how to become magnetic to money, how to influence people remotely, how to find and remove the blocks to health, wealth, and happiness you didn't even know you had. Maybe some you inherited from your parents, some you inherited from your great-grandparents. I'll show you how to find those, right? I'll teach you how to find and remove any hidden negativity at all. I'm going to teach you how to clear up the issues that just do not seem to go away, right? I'm going to teach you to attract the things you want and change what you believe you deserve so that your whole level of mind and body and spirit are in complete alignment and harmony. How to sanitize the negativity from your past, how to install the traits, qualities, and characteristics of naturally lucky people. We've all met these people that, like, they could step in a big pile of dog poop, go to clean their shoe off, and find a diamond ring, right? Or a platinum coin, right, in the poop stuck to their shoe. Whereas I just have a handful of poop, right? I want to teach you that luck is not something you're born with, because we're all born with the potential for luck. But some people come in with that switch flipped on. Some people need a process for flipping that switch on. And this is going to give you the on and off switch. It's going to give you the traits, qualities, and characteristics that are learnable and amplifiable through the lens of your autonomic nervous system that all naturally lucky people have. Okay? Luck is not, there's not a question of you have it or you don't. You can engineer it. And I'm going to show you how to do that as part of this program. I'm going to discover the most powerful engine of personal transformations I have ever discovered. There's a whole new way of doing affirmations and self-suggestions and directions that is in complete harmony and alignment with the processes of your autonomic nervous system. And if you know how to talk to your nervous system in a very specific way, it will unlock vast amounts of energy, drive, motivation, enthusiasm, perseverance, and resources that you didn't even know are buried inside of you. But if you try to use the old tried and true every day in every way, I'm getting better and better and better style of affirmations, it's going to take you years, decades to get the same result you could get literally in a couple of weeks, in some cases, using this new neurologically enhanced method, right? Then I want to teach you a process that I learned from the great Bill Bengtson. He passed away this year, called image cycling, which to me is simply the most powerful manifestation tool I have ever discovered. And I've modified it from the healing system in which I learned it to be a manifestation engine and transformation engine for you. And I will teach you in a step-by-step way, simple, easy, testable. You'll actually change the qualities of matter in less than 5 minutes using this method. And you'll find that the things that are on your image cycling list, which is part of this process you'll learn, will start to manifest dramatically, sometimes aggressively. So I warn you, if you use this particular technique, be aware that sometimes the universe in its enthusiasm to make you the person who can have these things will sometimes cause a little bit of chaos, right? But if you want the fastest, most powerful, most testable form of manifestation I've ever come across, the most consistent form of manifestation I've ever come across, image cycling will do it. Okay. And it's all taught to you exclusively in this Hidden Laws of Attraction course. It's a $1,497 program. If you look at the total value on this, once again, is $5,491 in combined value, but you're going to get these other 2 courses for free. But I'm not done yet. One of the things that I've learned through many, many years of doing this is that there's 2 kinds of skill set that we all need. We need inner game skills and we need outer game skills. Everything I've talked about, with the exception of Hidden Laws of Attraction, which is kind of a bridge between inner and outer, everything I've talked about with the Master Your Mind home study course and the Identity by Design home study course are all about inner game transformations, changing your beliefs, changing your identities, changing the templates that you run from, changing the voice inside of you, all the things that form the building blocks of your identity we cover in the first 2.5 programs. But there's another side to getting your way in the world, for creating the life you want the way you want it. And those are external or outer game skills. And that's what we're going to talk about next. I've included this particular program, the Real World Conversational Hypnosis universal persuasion protocol training, because one of the biggest areas that I see people that's holding people back is in the area of persuasive communication, in the ability to communicate what you want in such a way that people are inspired, wired, and motivated to want to do the things you want them to do, to say yes to you. If you're a transformation agent, if you're a hypnotist, a coach, a mentor, a consultant, even any form of healing where compliance and getting people on board with your treatment protocols is necessary, this is an absolute game changer. This will teach you how to speak to a person's unconscious mind so they can't not listen. You'll literally open your mouth and be hypnotizing people anytime, anywhere, under any situation or any circumstance. It literally, if you apply the system, turns everything you say into an irresistibly compelling, connection-generating, hypnotic conversation, right? It makes you one of the most fascinating people to listen to anybody's ever met, and they will literally be hanging on your every word because it allows you to emotionally bond and connect with anyone you meet, anytime, anywhere, under any situation or circumstance. It gives you the abilities to control your emotions and use them to influence the emotional states of other people so that they perceive the world the way you want them to. And because their perceptions and their body feelings are in a certain direction, then the behaviors they generate will grow from that. So everything lines up. If your job is transformation or persuasion in any situation or circumstance, you can't afford not to have these trainings and these skill sets. Okay? If you want to make people like, love, trust you on command, or something even more, this is the course that will lay the ground and the foundations for you. If you want to have them hanging on your every word and irradiate a trend, if you want to own every room that you walk into, this is the course that will let you do it through the power of language. Okay? We're going to give this to you absolutely free. Why? Because we want you to succeed. We want you to have the capacity to influence and reprogram not just your unconscious mind, but the unconscious mind of everyone you meet, so that they want to do the things you want them to do for their own reasons, and they get what they want as a byproduct of this process. Okay? It's a $1,950 value. We're going to give it to you free. If you did all the math on this, right, the total value on this is $7,441, but we're not done yet. Why? Because one of the things that everybody asks me about, one of the things that people, regardless of whether it's their own personal transformations, regardless of whether it's the outer game stuff where you have to convince somebody to do something and they're giving you excuses, or you need to lead a team or motivate people. One of the places that we always have a hang up is in the context of limiting beliefs, objections, and excuses. And so here's my question for you, something I want you to kind of imagine for me. What if for every limiting belief that you had 14 different ways to change that belief that were all bulletproof? How many limiting beliefs would you have within a week or two of owning these skill sets? And in other words, if you listed, let's say you wrote down 20 limiting beliefs that you had, and you deployed one of these 14 bullets on each of them, right? How long would it be before you couldn't go back to thinking the same way ever again? That's exactly what this program is going to do for you, and a whole lot more. This program is all about the concept of belief transformation. We call it renegade reframing because it allows you, in a very fast, powerful, and effective way that most people don't see coming, how to rapidly change any belief or overcome any objection or argument, for that matter, in literally minutes, right? All without coercion, manipulation, deception. It's completely positive and ethical. And it allows people to really have powerful perspective-based transformations that their hearts and their minds will accept. Remember, I was talking at the beginning of tonight's webinar, there was a question about reframing. And I said that, look, The way a lot of people do reframing is they reframe it in their head, but their heart doesn't believe them. But what if there was a way to get the heart to believe even more powerfully than the head does? What if the heart and the head aligned so that that whole belief structure changed spontaneously? And it could happen in less than a minute or two. What would your life be like if you had that ability to do that for yourself, for your loved ones, for your friends, for your clients? Because this program takes everything you've learned and moves it to demigod levels in terms of what you're able to do with the unconscious mind. And it does it, believe it or not, on two levels simultaneously. It does it through the aperture of the conscious mind, but the patterns directly transform the internal program that creates beliefs in our brains in the first place. So literally, change can't not happen. Right? All you have to do is figure out what direction the change is moving and manage it. It's really, really powerful. Right? So think about if all your limiting beliefs could be completely transformed in just a few minutes, how would that change your life? Right? We're going to give this to you. It's a $1,950 value. We're going to give this to you absolutely free, once again, because we want your life to never be the same after this. We want it to only get better. We want to empower you to make the transformations you told me you want to make. I want you to be the change in the world you seek to have. Right? The Tao Te Ching says, if you want to change the world, change yourself. This is the most powerful way I know to do that. Okay. So let's look at what we got. We got the Master Your Mind Home Study Program, 14 videos plus the manual. It's going to teach you the 7-stage identity by design process. So you can do this on yourself, by yourself, for yourself. It's a $2,497 value. We're going to include the Hidden Laws of Attraction, Mind Magic, and Manifestation Mastery Home Study course to teach you how to use the mind you've created and engineered in Identity by Design and in Master Your Mind to manifest the life you want the way you want it, to take the platform you created in the Mastering Your Mind training and use it to amplify your manifestation skills to very, very supernatural levels in some cases. Now, it's a big claim. Those have been my results. I could, if you want to hear about some of my adventures using this material, after you've gotten your course, go to my YouTube channel and type in Funny Law of Attraction stories. And there's about a 35 or 40-minute video where all I'm doing is telling stories about all the crazy things that I manifested or my clients manifested as a result of the image cycling process and related practices we teach in Hidden Laws of Attraction. It's a $1,497 value. You're going to get the Real World Hypnosis Identity by Design Hypnotherapy Certification Home Study course. And if you actually want the certification, all you got to do is give us a call. We'll set up a practical exam for you. And if you pass the test, we'll give you your certificate, right? You're going to get the Stealth CPI Level 1 Universal Persuasion Protocol, valued at $1,950. You're going to get the Renegade Reframing, how to overcome any objection or change any belief during normal conversations instantly. Total value on this is $9,391. Now, obviously, it's a webinar. There's a special offer. We're not going to charge you $9,391 or whatever the number was. Right? We want to give you the best deal humanly possible, and this is the best I can do without compromising my integrity. So we're not going to charge you $93.91. We're not even going to charge you $53.47. But would $33.47 be fair? Would that be a good price? Yeah, it's a good price. It's absolutely worth it. But no. What about $14.97? What if you got all of that we just talked about for the price of one program? Would that be cool? That'd be a good deal, right? I think that'd be a good deal. But no, we're not even going to do that. If you click your link right now, and I know some of you already got the link in the window, you can get it all for one low installment of just $797. That's right. One low installment of just $797. You get every single thing I've just talked about. And honestly, A whole lot more. Whole lot more. All you got to do is go to, or you can break that up into 3 easy installments of just $397 each. You can get started now. You can go to www.nlppower.com/MIND. Go ahead and click the links if you haven't already. www.nlppower.com/MIND. Click that link, grab your course. Now, for those of you who may be wondering, well, David, you say it works for you. You say it works for your students, but will it work for me? I say it will. And here's what I'm trying to tell you. You risk nothing with this program, except staying the same. If you grab this program, test it out for a full 60 days. If on day 59, you're not on the fast track to manifesting more money, finding the love you want, attracting more success, manifesting your dreams, feeling more secure and confident, if you're not dissolving the patterns and the safety lessons and the behaviors that have kept you stuck, I will refund 100% of your tuition for this program. And you can keep the programs that you download for free, right? Just click your link. There's absolutely nothing for you to risk by doing this. Okay, this is the most safe offer for personal transformation you'll ever get. And you'll have us. So if you have a challenge, if you have a sticking point, all you got to do is pick up the phone, give Mia or Moss or myself a call. I'm actually manning the phones right now. So chances are, if you call us, you'll probably get me. So if we can help you, we will. If at the end of 60 days, you're still not getting the results, if you're not fast tracking yourself to success, we'll refund your investment. Because if this isn't working for you, we truly want you to find something that does, right? So click your links so we know. And all this is good until tonight, October 14th, 11:59 p.m. For those of you who are fast action takers, who've already clicked that link, because I know there's only one reason Mia puts the link in the chat ahead of time early, and that's because people keep asking for it. So if you've already clicked your link, you've already got what I'm about to talk about next. If you haven't clicked the link, when would now be a good time? Because you're also going to get, when you click this link now, these fast action bonuses. So the first one is, you're going to get a 3-month trial membership to our NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program. This is a program that, as of today, is now 15 years old. We started it in October of 2010. We've been running it every month, month after month after month. Since then, it's a 4 to 5 hour training on the third Saturday of every month, where you log in. I ask what your sticking points are. I write them on the board. I create a lesson plan on the spot. And then as part of a group mentoring practice, we drill those skills until you can do them in your sleep. Now, you won't get a certificate from the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program. What you will get is something much more valuable: a community that supports you, real-world feedback in real time, an archive that you can reference and access for as long as you're a member, and perhaps the most important thing, skills you can apply, hands-on training you can use in the real world, in real situations, on real people to get real results. If that's what you're about, then I invite you to click that link right now and become part of a very elite group. Become part of a group of agents of transformation who are truly focusing on how to get things done in the real world and supporting each other to make that happen. As a byproduct of this, you're also going to get unlimited access to the entire 15-year NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring video archive. Not only have we been running this workshop since October of 2010 for 15 years, we've videotaped every single training. And we've archived that video on our Facebook pages, on our YouTube channel, on our Kajabi platform, and ultimately, part of it is on our NLP Power website. We're going to move it all to one giant cohesive archive very, very shortly. And as a member in good standing of the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program, you get full access for the 90 days of your trial to every single one of these videos on everything we teach, from advanced law of attraction to therapy work to body language, dating, romance, manifestation, psychic development, accelerated learning, memory control, marketing and sales, hypnotic languaging, you name it. If it's part of my wheelhouse, energy work, we cover it. Okay. So it's really exciting. Total value on this is a $1,597 value. We're going to tack this on for free so that you have not only the best information and systems available, but you also have an opportunity to actually get hands-on training from the comfort of your own home and to be part of a community where everybody's practicing everything they've learned to move their life forward and to get the life they want the way that they want it. Okay. $10,988 in combined value, but we're not done. We're also going to include, for those of you who have a lack of patience like me, who want something they can start applying today, we're going to throw in the Stealth Instant Conversational Hypnosis Crash Course. This is a $997 value. And this is a course that drills down on the 7 most powerful hypnotic language patterns that exist, that will teach you the simple, basic approach, the 3 steps to creating instant and rapid inductions, anchors in action, which is all about creating states and people on command, hypnotic hot buttons, which is all about tapping into a person's emotional needs and values. And I believe there's even a video set on lie detection included as part of this. It comes with transcripts, it comes with manuals, it comes with downloadable MP3s, so you can listen while you're doing other things if that's what you want to do. It has videos like you can watch 1 hour of video and be out using these things in the field the same day. I'm very, very proud of this program. It's something we created back in 2010, and it is still cutting edge today in terms of the content, in terms of the skill sets. If you're looking to get ready and get started right here, right now, this course will do it for you. It's a $997 value. We're going to give this to you absolutely free. Total combined value on this is $11,985. But as you can probably guess, there's one more thing maybe. For the next 21 people who click that link, we're going to give you a special gift. And this is my gift to you. This is a super event bonus ticket. You get to choose any single 3-day virtual event listed here or any that we add and attend it from the comfort of your own home, absolutely free. Our next event is called the Virtual Healing Intensive. This is an online group hypnotherapy retreat with me. This is not a class where you're going to come in, take notes, practice a couple of drills, and then have your certification and go off into the world. This is not that. This particular retreat is specifically for people who want to work on themselves, but don't want to work on themselves by themselves. This is for people who want to have me work with you in a group setting and guide you through healing process after healing process after healing process for 3 solid days. You and a small group of people will go through one set after another. I will literally unload my hypnotic arsenal, my transformation toolkit on you for your benefit, to give you the results you want, the way that you want it, in the shortest amount of time possible. If you were to walk into my office, it's $750 to $1,500 an hour just to spend an hour with me, depending on what program you're in. I'm giving you 3 days of my time and my attention for free. All you got to do is click your link. You'll be part of it. You'll be added to that group, and you'll log in on Friday at 10 a.m. And by the time you log out on Sunday at 6 p.m., you will be different. Your life will change, and it will be impossible for you to go back to the old version of yourself. If that is something you truly want, if that is something you're truly ready for, and it's not for everybody. Some people, they haven't suffered enough yet, right? They still think they can think their way through this. Well, that's okay. But if you're ready for my help, personally, I want you to go ahead and click those links right now, because I promise you there's not many tickets left. Okay. Now, if for some reason you can't make the virtual event, that's no problem. Just pick up the phone or the email Mia or Moss, and we will move you to the next virtual event or to a different training if that's something that you feel is in your best interest. Okay. We're going to teach you throughout the 3 days how to eliminate self-sabotage, how to heal your physical and emotional pains, how to remove blocks and limiting beliefs, how to find and remove the hidden negativity that you didn't even know you had, clear up issues that just don't seem to go away, change that crappy voice in your head, reprogram your past, and help you get in touch with who you truly are, why you're truly here, and get on mission for the rest of your life. That and a whole lot more. I love these things because I don't have to worry if you can remember the technique when I do this with you, because you get to just be the passenger and let me do the driving. You'll come away with a couple of techniques that you can use out in the field on yourself, for yourself, right? They'll basically be a review of what you learned in Master Your Mind or Identity by Design. But the whole point of this exercise, the whole point of this retreat is to help you change using my skill sets delivered through me, by me. Okay? There's no certifications connected to this. The other thing I want you to understand is this virtual healing intensive is completely private. You will never see a virtual healing intensive product because all the information is personal, it's protected, it's kept confidential. Every now and then, if there's a particularly good induction that I do, that's just me, I might release that, but none of your information or the things you share will ever be released to the general public. It's completely private. Okay. So total value on this, if you're interested, you want to know more about events, you can give us a call at 858-282-4663. Now, while we're on the subject of the phone number, keep in mind that whenever we start talking about the program we put together, we get hit with a stampede of calls. So if you called and your stuff went to voicemail, please realize that it's probably because we're helping other customers. Please leave your contact information, right? Leave your name, your phone number, right? The time you called, because we will get back to you within 24 hours, right? If you call and you get our voicemail and you do not leave your information, you will not qualify for our bonuses or what I'm about to talk about next, right? If you do call and you do leave your contact information, you will qualify for every single bonus I'm talking about right now, right? Now, remember, the phone has a time code, so we know who called when, right? Now, total value on this is $14,482, right? But here's the bonus I did not tell my team about. If you click that link right now, I'm going to include this special bonus just for you. Everyone who clicks that link right now gets a free 30-minute consultation with me, right? Everyone who clicks that link, calls that phone right now, gets a free 30-minute consultation with me. Now, normally to walk into my office, it's $750 to $1,500 an hour just to get in the room. Because you're on tonight's call, because I know you want change, because I know you want my help, I'm going to give each and every one of you on the call tonight who clicks that link a free 30-minute consultation with me. And this is literally an ask me anything question. If you want to sit there and pick my brain for 30 friggin' minutes, it's all yours. If you want to tell me stories, you can do that, right? If you want me to evaluate and see if you're a good fit for the change work I do, we'll do that too. It's your 30 minutes. You get to talk to me personally, not Moss, not Mia, me. So for those of you who want FaceTime with me, all you got to do is click that link right now and you get a free 30-minute consultation. Normally, we offer all prospective clients a free 30-minute consultation to determine if your case is a fit for our methods. After you click the link, we'll discuss strategies and tactics for helping you get your situation resolved in the shortest amount of time possible. If I can help you, I will. If I need to point you at a product, I'll point you at a product. If I need to point you at another coach or therapist, I'll do that. My job is to help you. So my special super gift for you right now, if you click that link, you get a free 30-minute consultation with me. And if all you want to do is shoot the shit, talk about my family, talk about your family, I'm okay with that. Okay? This is my chance to get to know you. my chance to help you in any way possible. So if you're even remotely on the fence, when would now be a good time to click that link, http://www.nlppower.com/MIND. Okay. All right. So that's what I got for you right now. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes. Oops, I got a little bit of a typo here I want to fix. There we go. I'm going to give you guys an 8-minute break, or actually a 7-minute break, to go ahead and click links, ask questions. Mia and Moss are standing by via email or in chat. There we go. Oh, that's not that right? Nope. I'm trying to be cool here and it's just not working. All right. See you guys in about 6 minutes. And then we'll pick up where we left off. Okay, folks. So we're back for part 3 of tonight's webinar. And let me take a look at our Q&As really quick. So an anonymous attendee, which is always a warning sign. I have a thought experiment. With your method, is it possible for someone with an average intelligence to program their mind to adapt traits of super geniuses like Reed Richards or Tony Stark, or not just regular genius? So they can learn extremely fast and fundamentally change how they see reality. So that, well, theoretically, yes. Theoretically, right? The approach you're looking for when it comes to that kind of transformation is actually based on something called deep trance identification. And to do it really, really well, you would have to collect a very, very robust sampling of people who exhibit that level of super genius. What would probably be necessary is you'd have to consume that. In other words, you have to collect things that they've written, preferably handwritten, watch videos of them, talk to them and interact with them as much as possible, and adopt their belief sets and mindsets. NLP would call this modeling or strategies. Then you'd have to go into trance and observe and immerse yourself in all of that and perform the functions that that person does. So there's a lot of neuroplastic, self-directed neuroplasticity that would have to happen for that transformation to manifest. But everything with deep trance identification starts with, what is your sample? What is the robustness of the thing you're seeking to identify with? Given enough supplementation and transformations, it is very possible to expand your quotient of real genius. But how do you quantify Reed Richards and Tony Stark? Right? I'm curious, just by a show of hands, how many of you guys remember the original Star Trek? Just if you remember the original Star Trek. Well, okay. There was a particular episode in the original Star Trek. I think it had Jane, the very young, is it Jane Roberts or I can't remember her name, but it was Captain Kirk and Spock wind up back in time, and Spock has the unpleasant task of trying to recreate 25th century technology using 21st or 20th century items. And all throughout that particular episode, this genius intelligence is struggling because he in order to make the tool he needs, he has to make the tool to make the tool to make the tool to make the tool, right? As he says it in the episode, I'm trying to create the first warp cell or something with the equivalent of stone knives and bear skins, right? To answer your question on the Tony Stark, Reed Richards kind of a thing, to truly understand or to truly be able to go where you want to go with that, there'd be no way to quantify it, because the technologies to create the technologies these guys are supposedly able to do either doesn't exist or we don't have access to. Bob says, "City on the Edge of Forever." Thank you. I thought that's the original series, Stone Knives and Bear Skins. Yeah, all right. So yeah, I had it right. Anyway, is it possible to expand your intelligence? 100%. In fact, in NLP, some of the very earliest practitioners in neurolinguistic programming did exactly that. Robert Dilts, in his early works, actually modeled very famous people. Richard Bandler modeled the strategies of Buckminster Fuller of Moshe Feldenkrais, of Walt Disney. I don't know if he did Tesla. I don't think he did Tesla, but the people he had access to, he created models for how these people do what they do. So if you have that technology combined with deep trance work, if you know how to modify your diet so that you have more neurotransmitters that lead to enhanced neuroplasticity, and you're willing to invest a lot of time and energy, I think you can do it. I really believe. I believe it's possible. I just don't know how you would quantify somebody like a Reed Richards or Tony, which, by the way, are arguably fictional, right? But do they have the tools to? How do you quantify that? So, interesting thought experiment. Do I think it's possible? Yes. Beyond that, it'd be an interesting thing to work on, right? I've seen technologies. I've been taught technologies that are not available to the general public that will turn people into literal terminators if it's installed properly. But they're not always the method you want done. So, be that as it may. All right, talk to me. What did you experience during your little safe placing adventure? What do you want to focus on now in this last portion of your training? Do you want to just Q&A? Do you want to focus on any specific technique? What's on your menu for tonight? Now that you got it. Don't be bashful, because if nobody's going to talk, I'll go bye-bye. Experienced exquisite bliss, Agnes says. Well, can't argue with that. Anything in particular that you guys would like to work on now? Installing favorable traits. Okay. We can do that. So when we talk about installing favorable traits, let's get a little bit more strategic on this. When we say installing favorable traits, are there traits that get in the way of that? Are there traits that get in the way of that? Okay. So if there are traits that get in the way of the trait you want, we need to get rid of those first. So one of the things you have to understand is I use a very simple metaphor when it comes to working with clients. You always wash the wound before you put on the Band-Aid, right? So if there's something that we want to install in ourselves, we have to make sure that the field is fertile enough for it to grow. And sometimes in order to do that, we got to go in and pull out the weeds. The weeds are the identities that have been holding us back. So what we're going to do is a little process. It's another hypnotic process. It's called the garden. This one's a little bit long. I'm going to try and make it short, right? And this is one that I learned when I was doing a very deep dive into sports psychology, and specifically the Soviet systems for how they programmed their athletes to sweep the Olympics in the 1970s. So we'll play with that a little bit for you guys, right? Now, again, this is just a small part of what's in the programs that we're sharing with you. So by all means, if you're on the fence and you want to do that 30-minute consultation with me, click the links before it's too late. For those of you who are going to hang out and go through this process, if there's anything else on your Christmas list, when would now be a good time to put it out there? You guys in YouTube land, I know you're getting a little bit of a delay with this, but by all means, go ahead and type it in the chat. All right, well, that being said, if you're driving, please don't, actually, if you're driving, how to flip a bad experience into something tolerable or even pleasant. All right, if we have time after this process, then we'll look at doing something like that. If not, you can definitely learn how to do it in your program when you get it. All right, so I need you guys, again, once again, because this is a trance process, this involves eye closed, you following my instructions, obeying my commands, yada, yada, yada. I want you to remember, if you're listening to this while you're driving, remember, I'm going to be guiding people through altered states of consciousness. Even if you're focused on the road, your unconscious mind is still listening. There is a possibility that you could be affected by what I'm saying. So I'm going to ask you, if you're listening to this program while you're driving, operating equipment, or anything that requires your full and undivided attention, please click away, right? Turn on the music, mute this, right? Anything that's going to keep you from getting sucked in to the process we're about to go through. Okay? I just want you to be safe. I'm not going to take any responsibility for people who disregard these warnings. Okay? You do this at your own risk. Okay? So that being said, I'm going to make this, because it's a webinar and we have places to go and people to see, I'm going to make this one as brief as I can, but as comprehensive as possible for you. So what I want you to think about right now is each and every one of us have identities inside of us. We're not one person. We're different identities, different little AIs that are all kind of turning on and turning off at random moments, different contexts, different experiences. And so what the Russian researchers found out maybe 30, 40 years ago was that the part of the way that these personas or these avatars work inside of us is they have a level of strength and dominance based on the amount of energy being fed to it by the unconscious mind. And that if you give the unconscious mind a process whereby the athlete or the soldier can access their system and reallocate those energies, you can take a set of behaviors or traits that are active but not helping you, turn them off, and take that energy and put them into something better. And so they created a really elegant way to do that, very, very hypnosis-y. But I'm going to walk you through it, and then we can talk about it, and then decide where you want to go next. Okay? So why don't you go ahead and close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and let that breath out with a sigh. Deeper and deeper with every breath you take and every beat of your heart. I want you to just relax. Let go. Listen to the sound of my voice. Any sounds that you hear other than the sounds of my voice are simply the sounds of your environment or mine. They're not going to disturb you. They're not going to distract you in any way. In fact, all they're going to do is signal you, remind you, reinforce inside your mind, body, and soul the fact that you're completely safe. That no matter how far inside you travel, no matter how deep inside you go, you will always, always, always be able to hear my words, follow my instructions, obey my commands, because you realize that everything I say and everything I do is for you, to give you the life and the lifestyle that you want, the way that you want it, by your standards and your definitions. Now, in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to focus all of your attention on the lids of your eyes, just like we did before. I want you to do that in a very special way. In a moment, I want you to begin to relax those tiny muscles in your eyelids, and I want you to keep relaxing them more and more and more, over and over again, until they're so relaxed, they just don't want to work anymore. And when you're satisfied, you're convinced they're so relaxed, they just don't want to work anymore, all I want you to do is give them a little test, just to be sure. And when you're satisfied, stop testing, let that level of relaxation flow from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes, deeper and deeper with every breath you take and every beat of your heart. All I want you to do is relax and let go. Just let go. Now, in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to begin to relax your mind. And just as deeply as we've been relaxing your body, we're going to do that in a very special way. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to begin to imagine the alphabet backwards, starting with the letter Z. With each and every breath you take, each and every beat of your heart, starting with the letter Z, all I want you to do is relax those letters completely out of your mind. Allow them, if you will, to become smaller and darker and harder to see. Turn the volume all the way down, down. down, deeper, deeper, down, down, down. Now, truly, I can't do this for you. Only you have that power. Only you can allow this to happen. And when you know they're gone and you're as deeply relaxed in your mind like you are in your body, all I want you to do is allow your head to nod with honest, unconscious movements to let me and you know, and we'll continue with the next part of our process. Now, drifting, dreaming, floating, letting the letters become smaller and darker, harder to see, turning the volume all the way down, 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 deeper and deeper, down, down. Not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to remember that beautiful, wonderful, safe energy that we created at the beginning of our training today. I'd like you to remember how that wonderful feeling felt. Notice where in your body you feel it. Notice the colors connected to it. Notice a brilliant ball of that energy floating above your head. Notice how the feelings in your body shift and change with every breath you take and every beat of your heart. That amazing ball of energy begins to grow, begins to expand, begins to fill your entire room from floor to ceiling, from wall to wall, and all points in between. Notice how it wraps itself around you like an amazing blanket of safety, a cocoon, a shield, a suit of armor, insulating you, protecting you from all threats, real or imagined, while at the same time flooding your mind, flooding your body, flooding your spirit with everything it most wants, everything it most needs in an infinite, ever expanding and unlimited supply. And when you know you've got that, breathe those amazing colors through your entire being. Let it fill you up like water fills up a bottle, like fluid fills up a test tube, like hot air or helium fills up a balloon. Anchor it in so fully, so completely. No force in the universe can turn it off, take it away. Not even you. And when you realize it's true, it's locked in, only stronger than it was before, I want you to test it. I want you to try to turn it off. Try to take it away. Try to imagine some force outside of you trying to make that go away. And notice what happens instead. Finally, when you feel complete, scan your body, stop testing, and allow that energy to continue to flow. And flow stronger and stronger. With every breath you take and every beat of your heart, you can feel all the stress, all the strain, all the less than positive beliefs and memories and experiences that you've been holding on to that weren't ready to go before, now flowing out of your mind. Solved, dissolved, and resolved from the body. Solved, dissolved, and resolved from the mind, the soul, the energy, and the spirit for all the right reasons. Your reasons. Take all the time you need now to feel complete. When you know you've got that, I want you to allow yourself, imagine if you would, that you could float up out of your physical body, up through that safe energy, through that cloud of safe energy into your safe place. That magical place that's the most nurturing, nourishing, transformational, protective, positive force in the universe. Just walk around for a few minutes and notice how good it feels. I always wonder when I guide people to their own particular safe place, I always wonder, what might you be hearing when you're in that place? What might you be seeing? What might you be smelling? What might you be tasting? Because when you do that, when you're in that space, and you see what you see, and you hear what you hear, and you smell and you taste what you smell and you taste, there's an amazing, wonderful feeling that you get. A feeling that lets you know you're truly safe. So take a few moments to really feel the safety of this place, to truly realize and recognize that in this place, you are the God of your universe. You're the king or queen of your domain. And you have absolutely every right, privilege, and authority to make any change you want for any reason that you want. I'd like you to notice and become aware that as you continue to take a tour of this area, you notice off in the distance what looks like a group of people glowing in the distance. And of course, when you see groups of people glowing in the distance, it kind of arouses curiosity. I'd like you just to follow that curiosity and allow yourself to walk towards those group, what looks like a group of glowing people. And as you continue to move closer and closer and closer, and the glow gets brighter, you notice something interesting. That what you thought were people were actually like statues. And each of those statues has a glow to it, a certain color, a certain radiance, a certain intensity level. Some are very, very bright. Some are barely visible. And as you move closer and closer and closer to this group of statues, you notice something else that's curious. Each and every one of these statues that's glowing seems to look like you. Maybe different aspects of you, different poses, different situations, different types of circumstances. And as you look at each of these glowing representations of you, you begin to intuitively understand that the intensity of the light is an indicator of how much energy that particular version of yourself is receiving. And as you tour the different statues and you look at the different versions of yourself, you realize that some of these versions are things you really like. There are parts of yourself that you're really proud of, that really help you to be successful and bring out the very best versions of yourself, that allow you to win in any situation or circumstance. That are maybe you see one that's the comfortable self, the other one that says it's the winner self, the warrior self, or the lover self, or the healer self, or. Some of them may correspond to Jungian archetypes or some form of spiritual tradition that you cling to. Others, not so much. You notice that some of these other statues that have a lot of energy, some of these are not as positive as you might like. You may have an angry statue that represents all the anger that you express in situations and circumstances. You may have a sad statue. You may have a fearful one. You may have a lying or a lazy or a gluttonous statue, right? Regardless of what these statues represent, realize, understand, and comprehend that they're just like the check engine light on the dashboard. The glow is an indicator of something that's happening in the system, a program that's running. And because you're in charge of the system, you have access to everything. You have the right, the privilege, and the authority to change anything you want into anything you want for all the right reasons, your reasons. Now, the process here is very, very simple. I'm going to walk you through it, but let me explain a few things. As you continue to walk around, you'll notice that there's aspects of yourself that you want to be more dominant, more prevalent, more operational in every aspect of your life. And there's other aspects of yourself that you want to go away, that you want to diminish or dissolve or turn off completely. And that process is actually quite simple. At the base of each of those statues is a little like a light switch. And right next to that light switch is a power cable. Now, some people's power cables are just simple extension cords that they plug in. Some use big old battery packs like old time video cameras used to have. However your body represents those things is completely normal and natural for you. So as you walk up to each statue, I want you to reach out and I want you to touch it. And as you touch it, I want you to notice where in your body the feelings connected to that version of yourself are stored. The mechanisms, assets, and attributes that allow that aspect of yourself to manifest. I want you to notice where it's stored in your body. Take your other hand and point to it. As you go through that process, as you link the statue to the body feelings, decide for yourself, is this something you want more of, less of, or not at all? If it's something you want less of, all I want you to do is reach down, flip the switch to the off position, watch it power down, reach out, pull the plug out, and feel that energy vibrating in your hands, looking for a new place to go. I want you to walk over to one of those aspects of yourself that you want to be stronger, that you want to have more of, that you want to be prevalent and dominant and assertive in every aspect of your life. And when you know you want that, take that cord, plug it in. Right next to all the other parts, and feel that energy doubling and tripling in size and strength, doubling and tripling in force and magnitude. Feel those behaviors, feel those circuits, feel those patterns and programs amplifying and expanding and spreading throughout your mind, your body, and soul, overriding any and all other programs that are in harmony, that are in conflict with it. Take all the time you need to let that process take place. And when you know you've got it, test it. Try to go back to that old version. Try to turn that version you powered down off and notice what happens instead. Take all the time you need to feel complete. When you know you've got that, I want you to walk over to another one of those statues that represents an aspect of yourself you want a whole lot less of, whose energy is being wasted that could be used for something better. I want you to reach out and touch that image. Notice where in your body you feel it. Decide if it's something you want to keep or get rid of. If it's something you want to get rid of, flip the switch off, rip the plug out, go find another statue that has more of what you do want and plug that in. Feel the energy, feel the rush, feel that program expanding, becoming stronger, more powerful, more dominant in every level of your mind and body and soul. There's no need to measure it or manage it or make it happen faster. Just notice that process taking place. Allow it to install itself completely. When you know it's done, test it. Try to bring the old feelings you turned off back. Try to turn the new feelings that you've amplified off and notice what happens instead. Take all the time you need the next moment or two to feel complete. And when you're satisfied, go ahead and stop testing. Allow that program to run at the new level of power, the new level of dominance. Now, the process in this place is very, very simple. In the next few moments, I want you to take a tour of all the statues. Find all the versions of yourself that you want less of, that you want to be less dominant, less provocative, less out there in the world. Reach out and touch it, point to where you feel it, flip off the switch, pull out the plug, watch it power down, shrink, and dissolve away. Take the energy vibrating in your hands, find the version of yourself you want to be stronger, more powerful, and pervasive, plug it in. Watch the energy, the glow, grow brighter and brighter and brighter and stronger and stronger and stronger. Impossible to go back. There's no need for you to measure it, manage it, or make it happen faster. Just notice the process taking place. Allow it to install itself completely. And when you know it's done, go ahead and test it. Try to go back to that old version of yourself. Try to turn the new version of yourself off. And notice what happens instead. So go ahead in the next few minutes. I want you to go ahead and go through this garden and clean house, Pull the plugs on everything that needs pulling, put them back where they belong. Feel the power, feel the rush, feel the release, while I remain quiet for a while. 1 more minute. Perfect. In a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. As I reach the number 5, you'll find yourself descending from your safe place back down into your physical body, bringing all of these updates, revisions, upgrades, and transformations into full physical reality with you. As you insert yourself back into your physical form, you'll find all of these new programs engaging at the new intensity level. All the things you've pulled the energy out of will simply dissolve and fade away like dust in the wind. All the new programs that you've energized, empowered, and strengthened will become exponentially more powerful and irresistible, dominant in every aspect of your life where you most want them to be, in exactly the way you want them to. Number 1, feel yourself returning to the body, to the reality, bringing these transformations and programmings with you. Number 2, all of my suggestions and directions from me to you, from you to your very own other than conscious minds are now 10 times more powerful, 100 times more permanent, 1,000 times more thrilling, fulfilling, and satisfying than ever before. Embraced, held, locked into that part of your mind, body, and soul that most wants, desires, can implement, perceive, believe, manifest, and achieve all of these changes in all the ways that give you the life that you want, the way that you want it, by your standards and your definitions. Number 3, because there's always at least 3 ways to overcome any situation, obstacle, or circumstance that you may face. There's always at least 3 solutions to any problem you need to solve, and your all-powerful other than conscious mind will now easily, effortlessly, and automatically generate those solutions and implement them in the quickest, easiest, most effective, and efficient way for the good of yourself and all concerned. Number 4, because it's all for you. You've done the work. You've made the investment. You've followed the instructions. You've obeyed the commands. You've tested the results. You're most definitely earning the rewards and the right to keep them. It's your reality. It's your truth. It's your life. You get to live it to the fullest starting now. On the next count, you can emerge from this process like a phoenix rising from the ashes, like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon. One phase of your transformation complete, the next phase, the best phase, just beginning. Ready to spread your wings, take to the air, to soar amongst the clouds, as raise life, the universe, and everything in it from a much higher place, a more enlightened perspective. Head clear, mind clear, heart clear, energy clear, soul clear, thinking, feeling, acting with self-assurance, feeling good all over, glad to be alive and ready to thrive. Number 5, take your time, fully embodied now, fully grounded. Take your time. Allow your eyes to open. Notice how good you feel. And when you're back, only when you're back, type 1 in the chat. Bernard, good. Kaya, good. Agnes, 1. Yep, good. All right, while you guys are on your way back, for those of you who are ready to go further now, she's hoping not to be back for a while. She'll lecture. Okay, well, I have to do my due diligence. So while I still have your undivided attention, remember that the clock is running on the Master Your Mind Halloween Dream Special, right? It's going to include the Secrets of Personality Transformation Home Study course, right, at $24.97. The Identity by Design Hypnotherapy Certification Program, $1,497 value. The Hidden Laws of Attraction Manifestation Mastery Home Study course, Stealth Hidden Laws, or Stealth CPI, Renegade Reframing, the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program, the Stealth Instant Conversational Gnosis Crash Course, and the VIP Super Ticket to our Virtual Healing Intensive. And for those of you who are among the first 15 people to call, you also get that free 30-minute consultation with me. Total package on this is $797. You can get it for one low installment of just, or 3 easy installments of just $397 each. All you got to do to get yours is click the link, nlppower.com/mind. nlppower.com/mind, M-I-N-D. Okay. If you've been on the fence, when would now be a good time to get off and get access to the complete system plus my guidance and help on how to apply it, right? Okay, guys. Q&A time. Talk to me. What did you experience? David says, sometimes it's terrifying how quite literally subjective human experience is. It's all subjective, my friend. The deeper you get into this work, the more you realize that everything about our lives is subjective. Everything about our lives is subjective. Even objective things are subjective, right? Kaya says, this visualization was easier for an aphantasia person than the previous one. Yay! I like that. Again, one of the reasons that our changes are so powerful and so fast is because we use multiple cortices at the same time. We're not just relying on your auditory cortex, right? We're activating the exteroceptive or the proprioceptive nervous system as well as the interoceptive nervous system. We got so many septions going on, it's impossible to track them all, right? It's a state of absorption rather than of we co-opt more parts of the brain in the way we do things, the brain and the nervous system, than other systems do. And so we get change that's faster and more pervasive because we're tapping into more resources through multiple channels. Okay. So I'm curious, I'm wondering, what questions do you have? We've got about 7 minutes before I have to log off. But the better the question, the better the lesson. When would now be a good time for you guys to ask good questions? Agnes says, I have no questions. I'm feeling stunned in the best way. Just wow. Excellent webinar set. You're welcome. Thank you, Agnes. Thank you. Again, these are all parts of what the entire program that we're giving you access to includes, right? Again, the idea is like there's so much nuclear powered technology in the program that it's hard sometimes to figure out, well, what should I, it's all good. What should I pick, right? Usually I pick the transformational triad, which is the energy spinning and color breathing and magic frame. They're the techniques that you see most often. But today I was thinking, you know what? Let's change it up a little bit. Let's show them what else is in the package and what we can do with it. All right. So thank you, Agnes. I appreciate the feedback. I highly recommend that you guys watch this multiple times, right? David is saying, I asked above, but if you see this, you can please talk about the Kabbalistic view of revealing things according to the vessel's capacity. It sounds like law of attraction, but the model is kind of interesting. Okay, so it's interesting. You must be at the Kabbalah Center student or something, but one of the interesting things when I was studying Kabbalah from the Kabbalah Center, and I know there's a lot of controversy around, oh, they're a cult, this, that, and I don't care. I don't care if they're a cult, right? What I care about is, does their technology work, right? And what I learned from them works. And so this is how manifestation was explained to me. one of the things about the way most people go about manifestation is they learn a technique to try and influence the world. Okay. The Kabbalists, what my teachers taught me was that's not how it works. Kabbalah means to receive. So when I connect to the divine, I'm not asking God to change the world. I'm asking the divine to change me so that my world matches what I want it to be. So I become the person who manifests the reality I want. And this is where, again, for those of you who are students of mysticism or magic, the more non-neuroscience side, right? There's this idea of, how can I put this? Should you influence other people, right? If I see somebody who has trouble, should I cast a spell or do a ritual for them without their permission, right? And the common wisdom in those schools is you never do anything to somebody or for somebody without permission. Well, the only exception seeming to be that you're allowed to pray for them, which to me is kind of weird, right? It's kind of to me, that's kind of oxymoronic or paradoxical, right? Because you're still doing something on somebody's behalf that they didn't necessarily ask you or give you permission for. So there's these little gray areas. So using it from that particular perspective, using a tool to change somebody else without their permission, gray at best, right? Well, what the Kabbalist says, well, look, if you believe in multiple universes, multiple versions of yourself, there is a version of yourself where you have the things you want, where you're with the people you want in the way you want to be with them. So ask God to change you so you become the person who can have it. It's a very different idea, but it's one that as I delve deeper and deeper and deeper into the real secret teachings, which are very hard to get, by the way, like you would not believe some of the personalities that I have to deal with sometimes to get access to some of this material and some of the promises I have to make. Some things they'll show it to me, but I have to swear oaths that I can't teach it. So in the weird times when that happens, I may or may not search for analog techniques or principles in other systems that I am allowed to teach and put things together that approximate what I'm not allowed to teach. So be that as it may. When you are a student of these techniques, there's a lot of secrecy. There's also a lot of dreck. There's a lot of snake oil and stuff out there. The one thing I do see when you get into true alchemy with these people is that they divide things up very, very specifically between cultivation and application. And what most people get out in the self-help personal development world is one or the other. Like, this is how you build energy. This is how you heal somebody. Not how do I build healing energy to work with somebody, or there's different types of cultivation. Marginally, tangentially adjacent to reprogramming the subconscious mind, but it gets a little bit more into the quantum aspects of things than most people would be comfortable with, right? So I try to keep things in a more neuroscience-y, scientific. This is what we can prove. This is what we know. This is the references you can cite to tap into the magic of your nervous system, and with the understanding that there's a whole lot more going on. So Kaya's asking, but what changing yourself to fit the so it's not about fantasies, it's about transformation, right? The problem that a lot of people have is that in order to have the things they say they want to have, they have to go through transformations. Some of those transformations they may not be ready for, or they may be a lot more arduous or prolonged than they expected. When I was talking about hidden laws of attraction, I was talking about the image cycling technology. I mentioned that the image cycling engine of transformation is the most powerful, consistent energy or mechanism I've ever seen for manifesting just about any change you want. But it's not always gentle. Sometimes it'll completely uproot your entire life because those are the things that are holding you back from becoming the person who can have the things you say you want. One of my teachers, Taylor Sinclair, used to say, You can be or do or have anything in this reality, this life that you want. But you first have to become the person for whom that thing can happen to. Now, she taught us that completely independent of what I learned in the Kabbalah Center. But what I see more and more and more and more and more is that when you go through the personal transformations yourself, the world changes around you. And that's the most efficient kind of change there is. Because the other way that people do is they try to go around changing this person and changing that person and changing this situation and changing this situation. The main leverage point, the fulcrum that controls it all, is you and your nervous system. So when you bring that energy in and regardless whether you're doing divine energy or you're using the techniques like we're teaching here for reprogramming your own autonomic nervous system and creating a different version of yourself that's expressed, you're changing you. And because everything about your reality is filtered through the prism of your nervous system, whether you believe in the woo or not, it comes through your nervous system. It's all subjective experience being interpreted. And your behaviors and your perceptions emanate accordingly. The moment you create change at the nervous system level, your reality changes. Some changes are immediate. Some changes happen over time because there's a domino effect. Okay? But let's make a distinction between transformation and delusion, right? There's a process we go through on our way to becoming the version of ourselves who can have these things, which many times entails letting go of aspects of ourselves that are keeping us stuck. Now, some of those things we want to get rid of, others we don't. And that's the problem. Okay? We need to know what we need to let go of. And sometimes we don't consciously know, but the nervous system does because it knows where everything is connected. And so as it moves us through that process of transformation that we've initiated, it's going to uproot things. Okay? Again, I talk a lot about this stuff in depth in our programs and stuff like that, but I hope that helps. Let's see what's going on here. I am your student, but in stealth mode, David's saying. Alex says, I don't know all the original names, but I get OCD about what I want. And then a few years after I do that, a few years it pops up where the desire what I want. Yeah. What happens is you can want something too much. And so you get an idea, you go from 0 to 1,000%, and where you need to be in terms of desire level for optimal manifestation might be 60 to 75%, maybe even less. But you're up here at 1,000%, and as long as that attachment and that desire is that strong, it's like trying too hard for something. You actually block it. It's when you stop caring quite so much that things tend to manifest faster, right? The hardest part that we have isn't the manifestation part. It's letting go of the process of manifestation and focusing on other things so the universe can do its job, okay? Vibrational influence, you were warning about cycling, that if you cycle something, the universe will change you to put you in. Yeah, it will. Yeah, I said that. So Tattooing by Michelle is asking, what about nightmares, sweetie? What do you want to know about with nightmares? Agnes says, this is so affirming. Thank you. All right. So it is 7:04. And unless there are other questions, please click your links and I'll continue to train you and teach you to the best of my ability and set the stage for even more amazingly cool things for you in the future. All right. FYI. So once again, Mastering Your Mind Home Study Program. This is where everything starts, guys. Secrets of Personality Transformation, Identity by Design, Hypnotherapy, Hidden Laws of Attraction, Stealth CPI, Universal Persuasion Protocol, Renegade Reframing, Overcome Objections and Conversational Belief Change, NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring, 3-month trial archive, the Stealth Instant Conversation Hypnosis Crash Course, and your VIP ticket, and your 30-minute consultation with me. Total value, $14,482. You can get it all for one low installment of $797 or 3 installments of $397 each. All you got to do is go to nlppower.com/MIND. That's nlppower.com/MIND. When would now be a good time to click that link before it's gone? Because when I log off, the Mastermind Mentoring Program, the Instant Conversational Belief Change, the Instant Conversation Hypnosis Crash Course, The virtual healing intensive and the 30-minute consultation, they go away. You have until 11:59 p.m. tonight to get the rest of the package. But when would now be a good time to get it all, plus that one-on-one time with me, where I can pick your brain, you can pick mine. We can figure out how to get you from where you are to where you want to be. On that note, in the words of the immortal Carol Burnett, I'm so glad we had this time together just to have a laugh or sing a song. Seems we just got started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say so long. Good night, everybody. Click those links, like and share, tell everybody, watch the recordings, watch the inductions over and over and over again. Click those links. We'll see you on the other side. Good night. God bless me. I'm Moss. Brandon, thank you so much. Seth, Chris Stombaugh, and all you alumni.